Again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Once again, the same subject continues to keep coming up. I don't even like constantly talking about this subject, but I'm only asking because it continues making the news. Folks will often refer to it as Trump derangement syndrome. You're rehashing this for clicks and views. Folks will say a host of different statements. Why can't we move on from the past? Why do you have to keep bringing this up? Well, it is in the news once again because it's in the news, and we're talking about the 2020 election. I don't want to keep rehashing this, folks. Not doing this for clicks and views. Nevertheless, President Trump's side of the aisle, we're talking about the Republican National Convention. Now, you may be aware that Laura Trump is now one of the elite members of the RNC. Most of their funding is going to President Trump. Well, here's a little bit more news. They recently got rid of about 60 staffers at the RNC. They're on a hiring spree, bringing in new folks. One of the questions they are asking is, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen? Why the hell is that coming up? To work for the Republican National Convention. Why do you have to be asked if you believe the Republicans lost or won the election in 2020? What is the purpose of that? I'm going to ask that as blunt to you as possible. What is the purpose of asking folks trying to become a staff or an employee for the RNC if the 2020 election was stolen? If you tried to become a staffer at the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and they were asking you, do you believe police mistreat black people? Wouldn't that be news? Wouldn't that be news if you had to have a certain viewpoint against police to become a member of the DNC? To become a member of the RNC, the Republican National Committee, they're actually asking, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen? Why would that be asked? I'm going to ask you folks that. In addition to that, tonight, this very evening, President Biden, let me get that clear. President Biden is having a fundraiser. I mentioned Obama because he will be there. He's part of the headlining crew. So will Bill Clinton. Both Bill Clinton and President Obama will be at the fundraiser tonight for President Biden. Expected to be a pretty damn successful fundraiser. They're expected to raise about 25 mil. Now, right now, currently, before this fundraiser even takes place, Biden has a lot more money in his coffers than Trump. Some of that is because Trump's legal fees is really draining money from the RNC. But what I want to ask you folks is, considering that both Obama and Bill Clinton are willing to campaign for President Biden, why do you believe Republicans are not doing the same for Trump? I mean, a lot of folks favor the Trump economy, favor the policies and direction of the country for Trump. Why isn't Bush, Romney, perhaps maybe the McCain or Reagan family, none of the Republican presidents of the past or Republican presidential nominees are speaking on behalf of Trump? What gives? Why is that? The overwhelming number of Republicans are voting for Trump, no doubt. The overwhelming majority of the Republican Party, talking about the constituents, talking about the voters, they're voting for Trump. So why is it that virtually none of the heads of the Republican past are endorsing him? As I stated, Mitt Romney was the nominee in 2012. John McCain, 2008. Of course, he's deceased, but his family is still in the public sphere to some degree. Reagan family is still kind of around. Obviously, George W. Bush is clearly there. Why are none of them standing up for Trump like Clinton and Obama is for Biden? What's the difference? What's the difference? Republicans love Trump, probably more so than the Democrats love Biden. So what's the difference? So those are our two topics we're going to discuss today. You know how the program is ran. MAGA friendly in its entirety, been that way since the very beginning, always will be that way. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We go left of Bernie Sanders from having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. Disagree with anybody in the comment section. Disagree with the host. Nobody gives a damn. It's a free speech forum. That's how the program is always ran. So looking in the comments, probably Dems don't like Biden, says Misty K65. You're true. You're actually correct. I asked yesterday, and I'll ask again today. Right now, I want you to type M-E, me, the word me in the comments if this applies to you. I am not a big fan of Biden. No love for Biden at all. But I'm going to vote for Biden because I damn sure don't want Trump reelected. How many folks feel that way? Type me in the comments. I thought it was a strong response. That's kind of wild. It's amazing that people believe that, but type me in the comments if you're not a Biden fan, but you're going to vote for the guy if it comes down to be between him and Trump. Wow, there's a lot of folks that are saying that. Hell no, not to me, says Trina Shepard. Yeah, you're surrounded by a sea of me's. So looking in the comments, even on YouTube, well, I'm really surprised on YouTube. Me not fall on head. Kenny, I don't quite get that, but I do believe you are suggesting that you don't think that way. Fair enough. You're entitled to that opinion. Because he talks shit about everybody, and they don't fuck with Trump. That is the answer coming from Don M. That President Trump is not being endorsed by the Reagan family, the McCain family, the Mr. Mitt Romney, George W. Bush, perhaps Jeb Bush. There's a lot of Republican elite still around. None of them are supporting Trump. Why is that? Going straight to the box, 800 plus of you in here, tap the screen. For my folks on TikTok, certainly on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. We'll go straight to the box. DJ Julio, friend of the program, good afternoon. Did Trump win the 2020 election? Why is that being asked as an application question? DJ, what say you?
Well, I mean, Joe Biden's in office, so I guess no, by public standard, he did not. Do I think that there's enough fishy shit there to indicate that he did? Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before.
What do you when you say fishy shit? What do you mean?
Well, it's just weird that 80-some thousand ballots come in through the middle of the night, and there's not one for President Trump. The election thing is it's Trump himself needs to drop it because ain't nothing that we can do about it now. We're freaking, 7 months from 2024 election?
Yeah.
If it happened, it happened. They got away with it. Good job, Democrats.
Yeah. And I will.
And if it didn't happen, then boo-hoo, Republicans, you lost.
Yeah. I will follow it up by saying this, because I get hammered by my viewers all the time. Why the hell do you keep bringing up January 6th? Why the hell do you keep bringing up the 2020 election? Fact is, that's what Trump is doing. Just last week, he was talking about January 6th. Now here the RNC is asking about the 2020 election. So I agree with you. We're never going to get past this stuff as long as Trump and elite members of the Republican Party keep discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously feel like they have listen, there's a lot of things that could be going behind the scenes. They can be, conspiracy theorists or whatever. They're talking about it because they feel like they have a reason to. I don't understand yet the reason as to why, and maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out come June.
Yeah, but you raise a good point about maybe we'll find out, because I was going to ask you, as you stated, we're only 7 months from the 2024 election. Why haven't they presented more concrete proof of what they're claiming, being that the election was stolen? Why is the proof still so subjective?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with playing the quiet game. I mean, you don't put all your cards on the table when you're trying to take down, a bunch of people.
Well, if you're going to make a huge accusation like they stole the election, you got to put more cards on the table than you're doing. You're saying you won the entire pot. I don't see but one ace. I need to know what other cards are in your hand.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
We're not going to see it yet. If it's some, we're not going to see it yet. We're not going to see it till midsummer.
Do you give them any time length where you would suggest, if you haven't proved it by now, I no longer believe you? Or do you give them to infinity to keep saying it without any proof?
I mean, people can talk all day. I'll let them talk. If you show me proof, then I'll slap hands and let's go. Let's take the rest of them down. If you don't ever show me proof, I mean, you obviously talked enough shit to get your man back in the office. So, kudos for you on that. I mean, either way this rolls out, if Trump becomes president, I think we're going to hear a lot more about it. I keep saying when Trump becomes president.
You feel kind of shaky there, huh?
Well, listen, it's just there's so much. There's so many waves in the nation. You got people in the box or in the chat. So I'm not voting. Well, then move. If you're not going to be a part of our electoral system, one, quit bitching about it. Two, get the hell out the country.
But I don't think you quite answered the question I asked you, though, there, DJ. I asked you, knowing right now that there has not been enough concrete proof to back up Trump's claim that he won by a landslide, is there any length of time that you will give Trump, and finally you will say, if you ain't proved it by now, I don't believe it? Let's say he's still saying the same thing 10 years from now with about the same amount of proof as we have now. Will you ever question, why hasn't more evidence come out?
Well, of course. I mean, we'll always question our government.
I mean, him.
Goes,
No.
As far as time limit goes, and me, myself, personally, I mean, in my mind, time's up. Either put your cards, I'm with you, put your cards on the table, or shut up about it and start telling me what you're going to do for the country. That's, if I was part of the DNC, or not the DNC, or the RNC, if I was part of the RNC right now, I would be telling Trump, okay, we have this, and we can prove this. We're not going to yet, but we're going to. But quit talking about it. Shut up about it. Start telling the American people what you're going to do for them, how we're going to make this better, how we're going to bring our country back, how we're going to, stabilize pricing so that everybody can afford to freaking live, and how we're going to stop sending money overseas until we start helping our people around here.
Yeah, but I guess the way I'm viewing it, okay, Trump said he won by a landslide. I get your point. Stop talking about it. Let's focus on issues that are more modern. But he's going to continue saying he won by a landslide until the day he dies. What I'm saying is, if he does not present concrete proof, is there any point in the future where you may say, dude, you're lying? I mean, you've had 10 years to prove your case. Is there any point, or are you so set that it was stolen that you don't really need proof?
I personally don't need proof, and I don't think that anybody really does. I think that it's like I said in the beginning, we've gone so far now that we're almost to the next election that it's a moot point in any of my decision for president. It's a moot point. I don't care at this point if it was stolen. If I ever find out that it was stolen, I will stand behind whoever I need to help bring whoever did it to justice. In my own capacity, and as American citizens, we don't have a huge capacity to do any of that. But no. People say shit all the time, Tim.
Okay.
And your actions speak louder than words. So I really, at the end of the day, I don't care what Trump says, so long as he ain't physically hurting anybody. And as of current Trump, we'll go back 7 years. He hasn't hurting anybody that I know of. He hasn't hurting anybody.
Wait a minute, okay.
The stuff that he's getting charged with is, freaking decades.
But hold on a second. You said people say shit all the time. You said he hasn't hurt anyone. Do you think his claims that the election was stolen hurt the country in any way?
Well, I mean, that right there is going to cause a division. If you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican and you're saying it wasn't stolen and I said it was stolen, I mean, yeah, there's going to be, if we don't know how to talk to each other, yeah, there's going to be a rift there. There's going to be some feelings hurt. I'm not talking about feelings, though. I mean, I said that in the last time, and I'll say it again. we as Americans need to, fuck our feelings. Let's start living right and start living the way we're supposed to, and we won't have to worry about this shit no more.
So, what is there any chance possible? Because you said people say shit all the time. In your opinion, do you believe there's any chance at all that maybe Trump made it all up and knew he lost? Is that completely ridiculous, or is there a chance he actually may know that?
In my mind, yes. I mean, I watched the polls that whole night. I watched everything that whole night, and he was leading by a big margin, and all of a sudden he lost the next day. And you can believe conspiracy theory, to an extent. There's some truth in it. It may not all be true, but there's some truth in it. And if there's people saying that, there were people, I mean, hell, the mob has come out. The mob that exists still in New York has come out and said, yeah, for sure. They dropped off hundreds of thousands of ballots between 3 counties. You have to Google that and find that. But one of the Gambino family members was talking about it. The second thing that same guy said about Donald Trump is the mob couldn't buy him. Mm-hmm. He was friends with them all. He was respectful to everybody. But there was nothing that they could give him that he wanted ever.
Yeah. Any chance, because you mentioned all of the inconsistencies, or you mentioned ballots being dropped off, any chance that there was any cheating on the right side of the aisle? Do you believe all the cheating was Democratic?
I would hope that we as Republicans, the way we think, the way that the majority of the people I associate with think, I hope there wouldn't be any cheating on our part. We wouldn't need to. We have, most of us have good values. Most of us have good business sense. Most of us have good, concepts of how we got to build a community.
You do realize Trump got 74 million votes. That's a lot of honest people, DJ.
Yeah, and I think that we're all honest. And that's what I'm saying is I think we're honest. All right. I think that we're honest to a fault sometimes.
All right. So is it safe to sum up your statement as Democrats are cheaters sometimes, Republicans are generally honest?
I don't think. Let me just get this clear to everybody listening, and to you yourself. I don't think Democrats are liars. I don't think that Republicans are liars. I think the Democratic Party in government today are a bunch of shitheads, and yeah, they're very capable of lying. Okay. I mean, I've watched. Nancy Pelosi. I mean, for one, she rips up a government document. Should have been jailed for it. She walked away clean slate. Right in front of the whole world, she ripped up Trump's document.
Yeah, that happened. All right, I do got to move it on, but you are correct.
You don't see Johnson, ripping up Biden shit. You don't see Johnson acting a fool. Yeah, we got, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a wildcat. It is what it is.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. Marjorie Taylor Greene holding up a picture of Hunter Biden's genitals on the congressional floor. If you're going to hold Nancy Pelosi accountable, calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a wild card is really downplaying it. But I got to move it on, Julio.
Well, let me
real quick.
You brought it up. Tell me
quick.
What was the setup for her showing his genitals? I never did see that. I've been looking for it, but I don't spend a lot of time looking for male genitals on my phone.
I know they were in there grilling Hunter Biden for some of his discretions, but I don't think there is no setup to hold up a picture of the man's dick. There is no explanation for that. I gotta move it on though. Good try. All right, moving the program on. A bullshit charge she was trying to put against him. That's what King Finn is talking about in regards to the setup. I've never seen Trump be responsible or respectful to anybody except for praising dictators, says Buddy Flood. Well, Trump is a big fan of Vladimir Putin, has spoke positively of Kim Jong-un. So, okay. All right. Real quick, going to the comments. Biden has dementia. Why vote him in again? That's a great question, Patty. First of all, Biden has not been officially diagnosed with dementia, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt from that standpoint. Overwhelmingly, the folks that are saying Biden has dementia have no access to President Biden. So most of them are doing it through the television screen. Very few senators, Congress folks who actually have access to Biden are saying that. So I will say it from that standpoint. That's point number one. In regards to your question, once again, point number two, why would folks vote for Biden with dementia as opposed to, let's say, Trump? Here is the spiel I would give you. Let's say, for instance, you're on the right side of the aisle. You believe in protecting the sanctity of life. You believe the Second Amendment shall not be infringed upon. Let's say you got a candidate that is talking about taking away AR-15s, is in favor of abortion, completely sane, completely within his faculties, maybe a young guy, anti-Second Amendment, believes strongly in a woman's right to choose even in the third trimester. But the guy with dementia is echoing Charlton Heston from My Cold Dead Hands. He is that strong on protecting the Second Amendment. He doesn't believe in taking the life of the unborn, but he appears to have dementia. If you're on the right, who are you going to vote for? You're going to vote for the young, sane guy that is going against all your principles? Or the guy who apparently has dementia, in your opinion, but he's on the side of the aisle you agree with? Where would your vote go? Where would your vote go? Knowing that if you don't vote for the guy with dementia, you're kind of helping out the guy that goes against everything you're supporting. Hopefully that kind of answers your question. Looking in the comments, you all sad. So it is okay to make fun of people. He has is horrible. Now asking people for, I don't quite get your comment there, Linda, but I do believe you're suggesting that folks saying that Biden has dementia is horrible, but the rest of that was grammatically off. Going back to the box, why is the RNC, after getting rid of over 60 staffers, putting President Trump's daughter-in-law on the board, hiring new folks and asking them as part of the application, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen? That's what we're discussing today. Tap the screen. Over 860 plus of you in here on TikTok. Certainly get your boy likes up to around 20,000. You know how the program goes, always uncensored, open forum. That's how we run it. Joey Bagadonas. We tried this yesterday, was having a little bit of trouble with the box. Good afternoon, Joey. Welcome to the program. Joey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tim. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. What is the purpose?
Okay.
What is the purpose of asking that question?
Okay, so here you go. I'm going to answer the question for you. When Trump was in office, he put in people that were recommended to him by the people that he thought had his back, and he ended up with a bunch of leakers, a bunch of people that released information that they shouldn't have. So now the RNC is saying, okay, do you believe in this principle? And if you say no, then you're suspect to be one of those establishment people that is going to start leaking information that the RNC doesn't want out. If you say, I believe it was stolen, then you're more of a loyalist, okay? And you're in for the program. But now, let me ask you a question. And I've heard this I hear this from liberals almost every day. Trump says that the election was stolen, but he has no evidence. He went to court 61 times, and 61 times he was shot down, right?
Okay.
Who had control of the evidence?
It's his job to present. I don't know if there is evidence in existence. It's his job to present it.
You can't see the evidence because the people who had control of the evidence would have had to been forced by a court to produce the records. The county clerk's offices that ran the elections, that did the counting, that had the actual. One of the claims is that there were ballots that didn't have a fold.
Okay, well, we couldn't get a hold of those to prove that there were ballots that didn't have a vote.
Then how do you know it happened? If you can't get a hold of the information, how do you know it's true?
Our people said they saw them.
Okay.
Our people said they saw them.
Your people, wait, hold on. Your people also said you saw Ruby Freeman and her mom cheating on the election. Your people said Dominion voting machines were switching votes to Biden. They said a lot of things.
Who had the proof that actually happened? The county clerk's office. Do you think the county clerk's office is going to a Democrat county clerk's office in Chicago is going to give Trump's campaign the evidence that they allowed these things to happen? Okay. That's not going to happen. They're going to have to be forced to by subpoena. The only way that the Republicans can get that, and we're never going to see it now because it's gone. Okay, it's gone. We're never going to see it now.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you're suggesting that the Democratic ballot office or polling places were doing what you said, and the Democrats say no, we're not doing it, and you go, well, you're hiding the evidence that you did this, and they're like, there is no evidence in existence because they are Democrat. Nobody's going to believe them. You could accuse them of having anything, and because they're Democrat, and they're saying that they don't have what you're saying, because you're a Democrat, you actually have it and you're hiding it.
So when Trump filed the lawsuits and said we need subpoena power so that we can grab those machines before the evidence is adulterated, so that we can prove what we're saying. You can't just walk in and say we're taking those machines because we think that there was fraud going on and walk out with them, because then the evidence is tainted. You have to go through the process. Not one of those judges was willing to put the country through another 2000 where we had hanging chads and who had to decide whether the vote was actually for Biden or not Biden, Gore or Bush. The judges didn't want to do that again. But now there's no way that the evidence is still there.
Well, here's the way I would look at it. If you're making allegations and you're not able to present enough to the courts to get them to follow through, that's where the issue is. If I go and allege that the police department took something from me and they're storing it in the evidence room, but I have no evidence to prove that they took it from me, most likely the courts ain't gonna do nothing with it. Trump was making allegations. The judge would ask them, show me the evidence that would lead you to make this allegation. You don't have anything, they're not gonna follow through.
Trump had anecdotal information from people that were working at the polls. Like the other guy said, statistically, it's an impossibility for 80,000 votes to come in and not a single one was for Trump. I think there was a town in Pennsylvania that there was not a single vote for Trump in the entire town.
Wow.
Statistically, that cannot happen.
I don't know. Depends on the size of the town. There's certainly going to be... You really...
Tim, come on.
Hold on, hang on. President Biden was on the primary for 2016. I guarantee there was a hell of a lot... Not Biden, Bernie Sanders, rather. I guarantee there was a hell of a lot of counties that didn't have a vote for Bernie Sanders out there. That can happen. That can actually happen.
The DNC screwed Sanders over so badly because of them wanting Hillary and not wanting a socialist on the ballot, because the Democrats have been strapped with the whole socialist idea for a long time. Bernie Sanders was... What they did to him is paramount to what they did to Trump. You know, Trump comes into office, he gets elected, and you got people like Maxine Waters and Tlaib saying, on day one, we're gonna impeach him. You know, Trump tried to get his cabinets approved, and he never got all of his cabinet approved.
Okay. I don't, wait, hold on, hang on. You know, you're going down the road of they never gave Trump a chance from day one. I get your point. But there was a guy, was it Mitch McConnell, that stated his goal was to make Obama a one-term president. President Trump himself saying Obama was born in Kenya, trying to get him disqualified. Do you believe the Republicans went after Biden from day one? I agree with what you're saying. Go ahead.
You want my opinion about the whole birther thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you my thing on the whole birther thing. I don't care whether he was born in Hawaii or Kenya, because nobody's going to be able to prove it one way or the other. The birth certificate that he provided had a hospital name on it that wasn't even there until after he was born. Now let me go with this thing. I believe that you believe that birth certificate was good, okay?
No, wait, hold on. I didn't need to look at the birth certificate. If you wait till a guy is damn near 50 years old to start saying he's born in Kenya only because he ran for president, when you didn't say it when he was a senator or going to law school, I don't believe it. I don't need to see the birth certificate. Why now?
But if you go back, there is video, and he was introduced in one of his books as being born in Kenya. Okay? Now, but let's just put that aside, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to capitulate and say he was born in Hawaii. All right?
Thank you.
Where was he raised?
I don't know. I don't know where most of our presidents were raised.
He spent his first 12 years in Indonesia. Okay?
What's the point?
This is his own words. He spent his first 12 years in Indonesia. He was a young black man in a Muslim area of Indonesia. Okay, fine. Then he was sent as a young black man to live with his white grandparents in Hawaii, who figured he needed a black influence and introduced him to an avowed communist. Okay? Obama, there were some good things he did, but there was mostly, in my opinion, mostly bad things he did.
What is the point? Wait, hold on. What is the point of bringing up how he was raised?
Okay, let me tell you. Obama never had Boy Scouts. Obama never stood in school and said the Pledge of Allegiance.
How the hell do you know that?
His own writings.
Okay.
His own writings.
All right.
He grew up in Indonesia.
Okay.
He went to a Muslim school in Indonesia.
So you believe everything, you believe his writings, so you believe everything Obama has said, or are you picking and choosing?
Hey, I'm just going by what the man said.
Okay, so when he said he loves America, you believe that too, right?
It could be.
No, no. You said you believe what he said. Do you believe him or do you not?
If he said he loved America, then okay, fine, he loves America.
Okay. He also said he was born in America. Do you believe that?
I don't care.
No, that ain't what I asked you. That's not what I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you if you cared. I asked you, do you believe what the man is saying?
I already capitulated and said, yeah, he was born in America.
Okay.
He was born in Hawaii.
All right, we're getting somewhere.
Okay. But he didn't grow up with the American experience. He grew up in an area where colonialism was still on people's hearts and minds. In Indonesia, because they had a history of British colonialism, and you can hear him talk about that in videos and stuff. He thought that America, growing up, was just like Britain, and it was colonial. So I don't think he grew up in the American experience, so his worldview was different than the average American.
Okay, I don't see any. He's a progressive. Maybe he wants to progress away from no typical, ideal, traditional America. I don't see where you get. What's the point?
So his biggest accomplishment is Obamacare.
Yeah. What is Trump's biggest accomplishment? What is Trump's biggest accomplishment?
Well, Trump had a really good economy before the pandemic.
You know how many presidents have had a good economy? What is his biggest accomplishment?
For me, he stopped immigration. We need to stop immigration.
So you're saying Trump's biggest accomplishment was shutting off the border?
It was a pretty big one, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not only that, but he ended the foreign wars. There were no new foreign wars while he was president.
Okay, there's a lot of presidents we've had where there were no foreign wars. I mean, so 100 years from now, if we're looking at the Trump presidency, we're going to say he had a good economy and there was no foreign war, or he shut the border down. That's all his legacy is?
Tim, in 2002, no. Yeah, in 2003, I was in Kuwait. Okay? In 2000,
I gotta move it on. Get to your point.
2015. It was 2015. I was in Kuwait in 2003. In 2015, my son was in Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay?
Yeah, what's the point?
So, why do we have wars that went from my generation to my son's generation?
Well, maybe you should ask all the Trump supporters that voted for Bush that started them all.
But Hillary voted for the authorization to go to war in the Middle East.
Hillary Clinton has never been president.
But she supported the Middle East war. She supported the whole weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
But your president, the guy that no liberal voted for, George W. Bush, is a grandfather of all the events you're complaining about. But you go down to Hillary Clinton instead of holding the guy you voted for credit.
Nope. You're right, and he was wrong.
All right.
You're right, and he was wrong.
And you voted him in. Your side voted him in.
We voted him in before the Iraq War, and yeah, he got reelected.
Yeah, by your side.
But we keep having to take the lesser of two evils. Did you want George Bush in 2000, or did you want Al Gore, who was?
I would have rather, I got to move it on, Joey, but I will say this. I would have rather addressed climate change under Al Gore than went to Iraq for a war that, looking back, was nothing but a waste of time. So I would have rather had Al Gore based on what history says. I got to move it on, Joey. Appreciate you coming in. You too. So looking in the comments, Ask the Airman, and Joey's always welcome on the program. We don't have to agree, folks. Let me make that clear. I don't censor or limit folks because we have a difference of opinion. It's not about free speech, never about telling you how you should think. It's always about what you have to say. So even if you have a guest on that you vehemently disagree with or that you favor completely, we do believe in letting the people speak. That's how the program has always been, how it always will be. So looking in the comments, I can't pronounce the name that says he didn't know what he was talking about. Well, it depends on who's listening. Some folks favored him, certainly over what I was saying. There's a hell of a lot of folks that believe his comments on the election, how they went to bed and Trump was way up. All of a sudden they wake up and Biden has taken the lead, or that there were whole areas of the country that Trump didn't get a vote in at all. A lot of folks do believe that. That comes up a lot. So I'm not going to say who's right or wrong in that case, but a lot of folks believe both opinions. MAGA Rabbit Hole says, facts are key, and he has no facts. You guys are harsh on my last guess. There has been wars ever since I can remember, and I am older than the host. Wow. All right, you made me feel young. Thank you there, Arlita. Appreciate that. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get your boy on up to 30,000 likes on TikTok, nearly 900. Certainly on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. I believe you have to hold it down for a couple seconds. Certainly, it helps out the algorithm on YouTube. Feel free to drop a subscription if you enjoy civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you. Before we go back to the box, Trump may be the Antichrist. Damn, Dudario says Trump may be the Antichrist. Everybody expecting him to save us is weird. Left or right doesn't matter. Hands of the same body. I don't believe Trump and Biden are hands of the same body. I get your political argument. I don't think they're the same. Totally different directions for America. Some favor Trump, some favor Biden. I don't see them being hands of the same body. Trump being the Antichrist. Wow. Based on what? You think Trump is that's really harsh. Really harsh. Why are people so loyal to Trump 2024? He don't care about anyone but his name. Well, the direction for the country, whether you favor protecting the sanctity of life, maybe you think the LGBT community is fundamentally taking America down the wrong path. There's a lot of reasons to support Trump. Second Amendment, how do you feel about the term shall not be infringed? There's reasons to vote for Trump. Just want to tell you that there are reasons, legitimate reasons, to vote for President Trump. Going back to the box, Vincent. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Why are they asking if the 2020 election was stolen as an application question to work at the RNC? Vincent, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? Listen, I just want to say something. I've been on several liberal TikTok shows. You're the most kind.
Wow.
You do let anybody speak. Anytime I've been on these liberal talk shows, you get gangbanged, and you try to bring up a point, and they just overpower you. You got 5 people talking over you.
Yeah, and I will say this, Vincent. I have never heard a man who favored being gangbanged. So my apologies. You won't get gangbanged on this program. So what do you think, though?
Sarcasm.
Huh?
That was some sarcasm.
Yeah, we don't want you being gangbang. We're not gonna do that here. You know, some people like a good gangbang, but that's never gonna happen here. So
I'm happily married to a woman.
There you go. We're talking about gangbanging on the other side. So
what do you want to know?
I want to know, why is the RNC, the Republican National Committee, asking that question when you join, as an application question, when you're trying to join, rather? Do you believe the 2020 election is stolen? Why are they asking that in 2024? As an application question.
I have no idea. I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
But I can, if you wanted any information on it being stolen, it most certainly was. During the 2020 election, there were 133 million registered voters in the United States. Trump got 75. He got 12 million more than 16. And Biden got 81. Do the math. That's 156 million. That's 23 million unaccounted votes.
Any idea why Trump's top cop, the guy who had the power of subpoena, could get folks to tell the truth, could get assets? We're talking about Attorney General Barr. Any idea why he claims, or he stated rather, Trump's election claims were full, what do you call it, bullshit, that it didn't happen? Why is Trump's own top cop disputing stuff like what you're saying, that the election was stolen?
Because he couldn't speak about it at the time.
What about now?
Put it this way. A little history lesson.
Wait. Well, let's see. Before you get into your lesson, why couldn't Attorney General Barr, while Trump was still president, why couldn't he speak about it?
Because military intervention.
While Trump is president, Trump is president, his top cop can't speak out because of military intervention while Trump is running the country. What the hell is going on?
Because it has to come out at the right time. Trump was just recently charged with election fraud, wasn't he?
Yes. I don't get your point.
Okay. So I'm going to get to that. Okay, so if Trump was to take a podium and give a speech and say, I've got the election fraud, here it is, no one's going to believe him.
Why not? You believe him?
Yep. Introduce the evidence into the court of law as your defense by the rule of law. Your elections, and I want to take you back, and you probably saw this. Your elections are in the Constitution, the 12th Amendment. when Mike Pence swung that gavel. And if you recall, the night of the election, Trump came out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember this specifically because I leave for work at 2 a.m. and I heard him on the radio. I don't know what happened, but I was winning by a lot. And all of a sudden, I'm losing. Hundreds and thousands of votes are coming in. Something's not right.
But here, hold on, I'll let you continue, but let me just say this. One of the issues is, just like you said, Trump coming out and saying something is not right. To some degree, he comes across as the boy who cried wolf, because throughout his presidency, he was, even right now to this day, he is still saying something is not right with the election. That was not something unique for him to come out at the election and say something was not right. He's been complaining about the election, suggesting that it doesn't work in his favor since he came down the escalator.
Yep, correct. So, making my point, your elections are in the Constitution. Anybody that is in the military swears an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution against all domestic and foreign. Okay? When Pence swung the gavel, they gave them a rope to hang themselves. That activated the military. The military cannot stand by idly and let an illegitimate president into the White House. And I'm going to give you an example. When Biden came to be sworn in, did he come in on Air Force One? No, he came in on a commercial airliner. First time ever.
What does that mean?
Illegitimate. He ain't getting on Air Force One. Second, when he came down Pennsylvania Avenue after swearing in, all military turned their back on him. That is huge.
So let me ask you this, Vincent. Now, you will be allowed to continue, but I want to ask you this. Who is currently the president of this nation?
Right now?
Yeah.
Through military laws and executive orders, Trump is still commander-in-chief.
So what is he running for?
What's that?
What is he running for in 2024? What does he expect to happen in November? If he's finishing up a second term, is he trying to be a dictator by winning again?
Dictator for a day to close down the border and drill, baby, drill, as he stated.
So Trump, if he wins in 2024, in November of this month, he's only going to be president for one more day as a dictator.
I do not believe there is going to be a 24 election.
Why not?
I think you're going to see some fireworks. Okay,
elaborate. Define fireworks.
I think shit's going to hit the fan. Who just got raided the other day? P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. You know, I will say, one of the things, speaking of P. Diddy, the minute that happened, I yelled out, it's about time you endorse Trump. What do you think? P. Diddy for Trump. Blacks for Trump.
No one can help him right now. He knows where all the bodies are buried.
Damn.
One interesting point I want to make to you.
Sure.
If you recall the 2016 debates, Trump against Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush says, and I quote, who is going to back you and who is going to support you? Trump answered, he said, the American people are going to support me because they're sick and tired of do-nothing politicians like yourself who promise the world and do nothing. Secondly, I got the backing of 200 military generals. See, do you think Trump woke up one day and said, hey, Melania, I'm going to run for president? No.
I don't think Trump even asked Melania for permission. Melania probably found out on television, but keep going.
Well, and do you ever hear the name Dr. Jerome Corsi?
No.
Okay, that is a personal friend of Trump's, and you can look him up on TikTok, Rumble, Jerome Corsi, Corsi. He's a personal, longtime friend of President Trump's, and he gave a seminar in 2012. Yes, it's true. Obama was born in Kenya. Military found out. Hey, you can laugh all you want.
I'm listening though. Okay, so it is true that Obama was born in Kenya. Keep going.
It was on the back of one of his books. And he also gave a speech.
But here's what I don't get, Vincent. But Vincent, here's what I don't get. I've been debating politics 20 plus years, and I've often heard that Barack Obama was the biggest liar in Washington. What did the guy stand up and say? You lie. But all of a sudden, the man says, I'm born in Kenya, and it turns into the gospel truth. To me, it sounds like you're picking and choosing what you want to believe coming out of his mouth if it fits a narrative.
Okay, so you want some facts? Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
The guy who was convicted of violating brown people's Fourth Amendment rights before Trump pardoned him. What about Sheriff Joe Arpaio?
Okay, in 2011, he wanted to lay the birther issue to rest, not to prove that Obama was born in Kenya, but to prove that the birth certificate that they displayed on the White House was...
And I watched that. I watched his presentation. I know what you're talking about. I did watch that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So not only did he hire somebody from the United States to look at the birth certificate, that investigation took several years. So they wanted an unbiased opinion, somebody who can dissect documents and prove if they hired a team out from Italy, and they all concluded with the United States the document was fraudulent. It was fake.
But here's what I don't get. Just like I asked you, are you picking and choosing when to believe something and when not to? Trump hired a team to recount the ballots in Arizona. He hired them. And they came back and said, sir, you actually lost by more than we originally thought. When do we believe people and when do we not?
When we get into a court of law and he displays all the voter fraud that Space Force has. You ever heard of Space Force?
That's what he created.
It's the sixth branch of the military. When they created it, they all made fun of him. Space Force. You know what Space Force is? It's the world's most powerful supercomputer, and it's used by the military. You got the Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and Space Force.
All right.
Capture everything in real time.
All right, Vincent, I do got to move it on. You and I certainly are worlds apart, but it's always a pleasure. Come on back through anytime, man.
Let me, one more thing.
You got to be real quick.
Go on Rumble and watch the documentary 2,000 Mules.
I watched 2,000 Mules a half dozen times, did about 6 shows on it. Got to move it on, Vincent. Got to move it on. Hey, anytime. Yeah, I've watched Dinesh D'Souza's 2,000 Mules. I think 6 times I've seen it, and I probably did at least 4 or 5 shows on it. We discuss it all the time, but I have seen 2,000 Mules. I've seen the Barack Obama. Listen, folks, a lot of folks send me information, things like that. Listen, I've never suggested that I was a know-it-all. Hell of a lot of you folks are more educated than me on both sides of the aisle. That's why I like having these forums. And I do often watch media and content that is sent to me. Now, the Sheriff Joe Arpaio thing goes back before I was on TikTok, but I did watch it. Same thing with Mike Lindell's Cyber Symposium. Remember, he was offering $5 million to anyone who could prove that Biden actually won the election. By the way, he recently lost that $5 million because Lindell was a strong believer that Trump won and was offering $5 million to anyone that could prove Biden won. One of his own engineers, Mike Lindell, one of his own engineers proved that Biden won, sued him in a court of law, and I think last month, finally that case was adjudicated, and Mike Lindell has been ordered to pay his own engineer $5 million as he promised. Lindell doesn't have the money, by the way. Some of the MyPillow factories are being, he got evicted out of a MyPillow factory in Minnesota. That's been all over the news earlier this week. So going back to the box, though. James says, talk about the Iron Dome. This is the dome that Trump suggested he put over the United States to repel us from attacks. I'm not going to be harsh on Trump in regards to suggesting he put an Iron Dome over America, because I get folks taking that out of context means he's going to turn over a glass bowl and put it over America, going all the way from Key West to Seattle. That's not what he meant. We've been suggesting that Israel has an Iron Dome over it for years. It's a series of Patriot batteries, air-to-air missiles to take down Scuds or any type of incoming attack. So we've been suggesting that Iron Domes exist. It's not meant in a literal sense. So I don't want to hammer Trump, even though folks taking it literally see it that way. But an Iron Dome just simply means you have enough surface-to-air missiles to protect the airspace over a sovereign territory. And that's the whole thing we've been saying about Israel for the longest. They have an Iron Dome, a bunch of Patriots back. So anyway, going back to the box though, Obama pulled the wool over all the sheep. He was a traitor. Obama started the takedown of America, says JB PB. Obama pulled the wool over all the sheep. I don't look. Before we go back to the box, and thank you folks for tapping the screen. We should be at least at 50,000. You folks in here, uncensored program, MAGA friendly, all day, every day, since the beginning till the end. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor. Certainly tap the screen, get your boy likes up. Easily 50,000 can happen with so many folks in here. Same on YouTube, smash that like button. But in regards to Obama pulling the wool over all the sheep, I think that should be Ray Epps. If you want to suggest people blindly following behind someone, why isn't Ray Epps viewed in such a manner? Folks flew all the way to Washington on January 6th to help Trump stop the steal, stop the election from being stolen, allegedly defend democracy from the Biden administration. Trump said, go to the Capitol building patriotically and peacefully. And in the 2-mile walk from where Trump was speaking in the Capitol building lies, Ray Epps, someone nobody knows from Adam, was allegedly able to convince folks to act a damn fool. If you want to talk about sheep, I submit to you, MAGA on January 6th. Why would you disobey the guy you came out here to see, the guy you came out here to defend, and listen to an agitator, in your opinion, suggesting that Ray Epps somehow agitated every day? You don't know who the hell this guy is. The guy you came to defend just told you to be peaceful. And Ray Epps could convince you to do otherwise. If that's not a sheep, I don't know what is. So when you're quoting or suggesting that Obama led a whole bunch of sheep, don't forget to throw Ray Epps' name in there. Going back to the box, Epps was a government plant, FBI informant. I don't give a damn if he was hanging out with Martha Stewart. Nobody can convince you to do something you don't want to. So if you're going to talk about sheep, Ray Epps would be considered the Pied Piper. Going back to the box, and that's taking the statements that folks on the right has said, that Ray Epps instigated it all. I don't necessarily buy into that, but I'm taking what you're saying. If Ray Epps instigated it all, then you had to be sheep. Certainly if Trump said go peacefully, how did Ray Epps convince him to go otherwise? Is that not a sheep? Tell me where I'm getting it wrong. Going back to Moody, Norma J. Good afternoon, Moody. Moody. Hey, good to have you back on. So, one of the application questions to join the RNC, Republican National Committee, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen? Why do you got to answer a question like that to join the RNC?
Because you have to prove your loyalty to Trump. See, we've already exposed what it means now to be disloyal to him. And so now he's making you prove that, you have to be loyal to him. So he's not going to take any defectors this time. You have to be loyal. You have to say it, even if you don't believe it.
But the Republican Party is all about principles, smaller government, pro law enforcement, things like. It's not about loyalty. That's something you would do in a kingdom. Where did this loyalty come in?
Because we now have a dictator-in-chief on the rise. And so in order for him to prove and get the people around him, the H guy who caused the Holocaust, he had to have the minions around him to allow him to be able to do and accomplish all the foolishness that he ended up accomplishing. And so in their mind, they have to now put the people in place. Trump is not smart enough for this. This is not him saying this. This is the people around him who are making sure that he can get in and wreak the havoc that he wants to cause.
So let me make sure I'm getting clarity here. You believe that Trump is trying to set up some sort of dictatorship, and to do so, he's putting people in who not necessarily are for Republican principles, but are simply there to follow his lead?
Absolutely, absolutely. The man can't even, run his own golf tournament. He has to win his own golf tournaments, and the people around him. It's just he's a silly clown act, and he has to have the other people in order for the circus to happen. So in order for this to go down, he has to have the people in place. But he's not smart enough to do it. So the people around him are, causing this to happen. It's the people around him. He's not that smart, not at all.
So folks favor his economy. They favor the fact that we didn't have a lot of global conflicts and things like that. I mean, did you see Trump as a good president, 2016 to 2020?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Absolutely not. I told you I'm a nurse because we had COVID and that fool was telling us to inject bleach. We didn't have, we have meat trucks outside of our hospital because we didn't have enough places to put bodies. We didn't have enough gloves. We had to, share gloves and share rooms. I saw nurses and doctors dying around me. I came to work every day with them telling us how many patients were going to die because we didn't have epi. He was absolutely, and then he was on, we were struggling at the hospital and he was arguing with LeBron James on the fucking internet. So no, I don't think he was a good president. I think he had the residual of an Obama economy, and he took credit for it because in his mind, no matter how little he does, he's going to take credit for it. I live in Texas. I saw little children separated at the border for which they couldn't even find their damn parents because they just separated them to be cruel. And then it was time for them to, reunite these people. They didn't even have a system in place to put the mothers back with the children that they had separated them for. Now, I'm not for open borders at all, but if you're going to take children away from their mother, at least know where you took the mother so that someday you can put the child back with the mother. He didn't even have enough organization to do that. He was a cruel bastard, and I hope he never is president again.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I have a lot to push back on. You pretty much stated that clearly. But what about folks who would suggest that Obama was separating children at separating families at the border, doing some of the same things you're chastising Trump for?
I don't think that Obama was cruel in his actions. I think Obama was doing his job trying to secure the border. And I think Obama was doing things that he knew, he was pissing us off too at the same time. He wasn't just doing everything that the Democrats wanted him to do, but I think he was trying to follow the law and, making people go back to the country until they could prove why they were trying to get asylum here. I think he deported more people than President Trump did, because he was doing it in an orderly way. I don't think it's bad. Like, when people go back and forth across our borders every single day, good people. And I think making everybody, who's a crook and a rapist and they're sending their criminals, President Trump was a crook and a criminal. He's being accused of rape absolutely in a court. He was convicted of it. So he's talking about himself.
Wow.
While he has his foreign wife.
So it sounded to me like you believe Trump is just generally a bad person.
I think that he has some work to do on himself, and I think that the reason why they keep saying that they lost the election is because we outvoted them. And in their mind, this country could not have had all of the other people that showed up, not just white people, but brown people and black people and all those in between, because we saw what they refused to see. And it's not that deep. I told you before, it's not deep. Trump is not a deep thinker. He woke up the other night on Truth Social and misspelled every single solitary thing that he posted. And so he's not deep. He's not, a forward-thinking person. But because he doesn't like who they don't like, they rationalize. I just let you hear this man, let that man speak all of that foolishness, all of that ridiculousness, because in their mind, they can't process the fact that they lost because we outvoted them. Because in their mind, that's the steal, the fact that we showed up. Not the fact that Trump went and picked up all the mailboxes and told them not to mail in their ballots and don't do all these things that other people have done for years. He turned them against that. So y'all fool made y'all lose. We know what to do. But because we outvoted them in their mind, They lost.
Well, but yeah, but they're gonna
because
they're gonna bring up now, Moody. They're gonna bring up the sheer size of Trump's crowds. You know, Biden having crowds where everybody's in their car honking horns, wearing masks, were a fraction of the size of Trump's crowd. So, you know, they're gonna ask, how could Biden get more votes than Trump? When he, or even Obama, by the way, Biden got more votes than Obama, and they're like, you know, he's campaigning from his damn basement. How do you explain folks asking that? How could Biden get so many votes when he's not even out there campaigning?
Because people like logic. People want decency. We've made it through these 4 years without some fool on the internet every single day tweeting and acting a fool and, you know, having fights with football players and basketball players because people like calm. I'm a person that loves the stock market and I'm a retail trader. I don't want somebody on the toilet every morning doing stupid shit, you know, before earnings reports come out. He was just erratic. And we like calm. We like somebody logic. I don't know what people talking about the lesser of two evils. Where is Biden evil at? The man go to church every day. The Lord let him be 80 years old. Like, seriously, where are we talking about evil? Evil is that other fool.
Well, I could bring up the crime bill and all of this stuff that they normally bring up, but I want to ask you something.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the floor to this because this is, I'm just going to leave it to you. You can answer this any way you want. You know I don't believe in censorship. This is coming from YouTube. Heath Lowry says, a black woman complaining about misspelled words is a weird take. Floor is yours.
Wow, a black woman. So once again, that just proves my point that no matter how far we go or how high we climb, the fact that Barack Obama became and ascended to the presidency with his articulateness, with his decency, with his one wife and his two kids and his Harvard education and all of the things that came with him, we are never going to come up to their standards. So I won't lower my educated ass, Prairie View A&M ass to answer that question. You can read the post your damn self. So that's the answer to your question.
All right, Moody. All right. It's a pleasure having you in. Thank you for holding, by the way. The door is always open to you.
You're such a wonderful guy. I love being on your show. Thank you for letting us hear both sides. And thank y'all. That's it.
I do appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Come on back anytime. Looking in the comments. I love working hard and not able to afford to eat. Vote for Biden, please. You love working hard and not being able to afford to eat. And he has the clown emoji and things. I'm assuming you're suggesting that Biden's a clown or anybody that votes for Biden is a clown. Fair enough. But I will ask this question. Who cannot afford to eat in America? I don't hear that since Biden has been president, nearly 4 years, I'm not hearing physicians or the medical community saying that obesity is coming down because people starving to death. I'm not hearing that. I do agree that the price of groceries are more than they were a few years ago. I'm not going to take that away from the debate about the economy, but you can't afford to eat. This is what I mean, folks, when we talk about Armageddon politics, making a mountain out of a molehill. Under Biden, let's say groceries are up 20, 30%. That doesn't mean that it's suddenly turned into the damn Gaza Strip where you can't get food. This is the portrait of America Biden's detractors are painting, as if this just suddenly turned into the damn Sahara, where you got Susan Sarandon doing, USA for Africa commercials. Americans ain't doing that damn bad. I'm not pretending like under Biden's economy, things haven't went south a little bit for some folks struggling. I'm willing to entertain that. But you kind of lose credibility when you paint it out to be, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome or something. Like the country's not like that. I mean, wow. You're struggling to eat, huh? You're starving to death under Biden. Going back to the box. Continuing on, we'll go to, I don't know what just happened there, but we'll go to Blessed Grammy, number 4. Good afternoon. Asking that question. Do you believe the 2020 election is stolen just to work for the RNC? Kind of wonder why is that being asked. I don't know what happened with my last guest, but nevertheless, we'll continue on with Master Street Teacher. Yes, they are buying the Trump's Bible. $59.99 for a Bible you can get online. That seems a bit expensive. Good afternoon to the master.
The thing is, what's happening? I don't know if it was stolen. But you look at the numbers. The numbers that get me is he didn't. When they looked at the numbers up in New York and California, everything kind of like made sense. Obama, he didn't get as many votes as Obama and Hillary got. You can go look that up.
Okay.
But everywhere else in the battleground states, he showed up and there was a lot of votes. What would they say, 80 million in all?
Yeah. So let me ask you, just because like you said, none of us know. We don't have access to everything the ballot officials do. But do you believe the election was stolen? Trump said he won by a landslide. Do you believe that may be possibly true?
No, not no landslide. I don't know about that. I think it was a battle. But this is the problem I have. It's supposed to be like one day. Don't come back 5 days from now. I don't trust these people like that.
Well, hold on a second. We're counting, like you said, 74 million for Trump, 80 plus million for Biden. That's over 150 million votes. The idea that may not all be counted on the first day when people can mail in votes. You got folks that are stationed overseas in the military. You're not going to count it all in one day.
But we get early voting. These people, man, if you can't get them votes in as early as they start, I just don't see 5 days, 7 days. I'm like, no, that's too much time. Human beings should never be trusted at that point. Too much nefarious stuff goes on.
I don't see how you believe that if you give them 5 days, all kinds of cheating can happen. But if you give them 1 day, it's going to be honest. I mean, people can cheat in 10 seconds.
No, what I'm saying is, if you get to let a group of people sit at a table, like how many you need? What if they are ballots harvesting to the point of, hey, bring me these. All these ideas, people say trucks, ballots and stuff. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't want to give them time to do that.
Well, let's go with what you said. Ballot harvesting, trucks, dead people voting. In a country where over 150 million votes were cast, why isn't there more evidence? If there was so much widespread fraud, let's say you could only present 10 or 15% of it. You should be coming up. Why aren't they presenting far more cases of fraud? In fact, a lot of folks that have been caught and convicted of cheating have been Republicans. Why haven't they came up with more stuff?
See, this is the thing. I don't care who you are. Don't be playing with the system, because you're going to make the people don't like the system. The people got to trust the system. So I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. But
wait, hold on. In regards to trust in the system, is there anything you could ever do where there's 150 million participants and nobody does anything wrong? That'll never happen.
Well, you got to understand this. When it comes to human beings, don't give them that much access. Put a system. When I say access, you put a system in place, right? And you don't give them 7 or 8 days to play around with this. If Florida can come back at night, don't you have a smaller state like Florida and you can't get the ballots in?
Well, so what are you saying? Get rid of mail-in voting?
No, you can have it, but you got to regulate it. You got to make sure there is no nefarious.
How do you do that?
Well, put a date up. You can't tell me, well, it's in the mail. No, it got to be here by this date. If it's not here, we're not counting it. It's just that simple. You can give them all. I'll give you a whole 4 months to send it, but it better be here that night.
Okay, so if I legally send a ballot that I have a legal right to vote, and it gets lost in the mail and the post office screws it up and it comes a day late, you're telling me my vote don't count because the post office screwed it up?
Well, that's why I say we can go back as far as you want to send it in. It must be in there.
Okay. I don't disagree if you say people could send their votes in months ahead, but they don't want that to be legal either.
Well, the thing is, what we got going on here, this is going to cause a serious problem. But one thing I would like to address is this. I am so sick and tired of people in this society always calling people, like, I love when they say Donald Trump is so dumb. Well, wait a minute. With all your college degrees, I bet your life do not match up to his. I bet you do not have $175 million anywhere in your peer review degree.
So what's your point, though? I mean, is going to college is your only goal to make money? I mean, goodwill, perhaps extending your life on Earth, is there any other benefit to judge your success other than just money?
The bottom line is this: you can go get all the degrees in the world. What you find yourself doing, waking up at 6 o'clock to go do punch somebody's clock?
Right, but here's the point I'm making. Let's say you don't have. Let's say you got a bunch of college degrees and Trump doesn't, but Trump has considerably more wealth. But Trump lives to be 80, and you live as long as Betty White. Who's more successful? Are we judging it solely on money?
No, you missing my point. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you're missing my point. We have been indoctrinated in this country that we are up on some type of shelf when somebody else tell us how smart we are. Okay? I call myself the master street teacher because I go inside of inner cities and I correct what the teachers cannot get these little black boys to do.
Okay.
I have them, like, when I get through with them, I guarantee you we finna be mathematicians. We finna be engineers. I go inside and take my technical skills.
But are you about to be billionaires? Because according to you, if not, then you can't compete to Trump.
No. You missing the point totally.
True.
What I'm saying is this: you shouldn't be competing with nobody. You should be building like I asked you, hey, handsome, what your rich look like? My rich, I want about three or four vacations during the year. I want this type of car. I don't care what you get. My rich look a certain way.
But I go back to what I just stated to you. Mm-hmm. You're basing all of your judgment on wealth. Some folks are focused on other spirituality. They may be focused on family. Everybody ain't trying to have a Learjet at their crib. Maybe they want to have a family so when they die, their family comes around and seek. You know how many millionaires have nobody visit them unless they're trying to ask them for money? There are other things people judge stuff on.
But what I'm focusing on is what I heard today. I keep hearing people talk about, I'm educated. And I say, that education that they're giving out at the university is going to be extinct after a while. If you're not doing something of some type of skill, dentistry, doctor, engineering, medicine, after a while, people won't even be going to college because it's too expensive and it don't make you smart.
Okay.
If you think it makes you smart, everybody in our government has some form of degree.
So if you, let's say for instance, you got injured on the street, shot, ran over by a bus, some type of traumatic event where you needed to go to surgery, and when you got to the hospital, the doctor who was about to treat you admitted, I have never been to college because it's bullshit. Would you have any problem with that?
Of course. Did you hear
Why? It doesn't make you any smarter.
No. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, that's why I asked you.
No, but I said you didn't catch it. College is going to be extinct only if you're going into medicine, pharmacy. Yes, you going for a specialty, dentistry, like my orthodontist. Got paid big money from me. Guess what? Yes, he goes to school damn near 12 years to do that.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying don't go get no education.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got clarity. I got to move it on. Now, Master, real quick before I move it on, who do you think is best for 2024 between these two guys, Trump and Biden?
Well, I'm just going to say, I don't want the border open. I don't want to pay what I'm paying for the gas. I don't want the food to look like this. So I'm going to go with the man I know can fix it. I'm going to go with Trump.
All right. Well said. Come on back anytime. That is the master. All right. Looking in the box, I got nothing for that guy. I got nothing but love for you, honey. Shout out to the late Heavy D. What is he saying? Look, the guy was speaking his opinion. Real quick, going to the YouTube side of the aisle. Thank you for that super chat coming in from named Barbara. Is success only judged by money? That's the point I was trying to make. Thank you for that super chat. No, it's not. In my opinion, no, it is not. Like I said, you could be incredibly wealthy, estranged from your family, multiple divorces, a fat fuck that's not going to live past 50. I mean, there's a ton of things that could make you unsuccessful, in my humble opinion, while being wealthy. But I do understand America's a capitalist country. So we do look at wealth as a primary factor in judging your success. As I just stated, you could have everything going wrong in your life, including be, terminally ill from utilizing too much narcotics. But if you got a bunch of money in the bank, they'll call you successful. That's all it takes in America, because we do base our primary judgment of character on how much money you got. So I'm going to drop out of my master's program in sustainable energy so he can teach me something. Name. Don't drop out of your master's program in sustainable energy, but some might tell you to do that so you could go back to drill, baby, drill. A lot of folks on the right in particular are not big fans of sustainable energy. They want you to continue using fossil fuels. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Looking in the comments, last caller was proof that poorly educated love Trump as much as he loves them, says Barbie Gunderson. Yikes. Tap the screen. We got over 1,000 folks here. I'm going to go for the big six figures as we normally do, 100,000 likes. Let's start out with 80. If you show some love to the program, you know how it works. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Program is, always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone, no matter how much we disagree. It doesn't mean a damn thing here. Gen Xer says, college is the biggest indoctrination scam going, says Gen Xer. What is college indoctrinating you to do? I don't know about that one. I think there's a lot of other indoctrination scams, so to speak, that happen. I think some of them we favor. Before I go back to the box, how many of us remember putting your hand on, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the Republic? I pledge allegiance. We said that as early as kindergarten. How many kindergartners know what it means to pledge allegiance to a nation? If you ask a kindergarten, first grader, second, third grader, what the hell does this mean that you just said? They wouldn't even know. So I would suggest to you that indoctrination starts very young. Remember we talked about, I don't want LGBT being shoved down the throats of our children. You got kids pledging allegiance to a nation. Talk about things being shoved down the throats of folks. 2 years old or 5 years old in kindergarten, 6 years old in first grade, pledging allegiance to a nation as if they know what that means. Reading the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery. And you don't even know what it's like to have a wife. Why are you reading that? we indoctrinate people on a lot of levels in this country. I just want to point that out. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving on with Stick the Ruler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Asking that question. Do you believe the 2020 election was stolen just to join the RNC? Why would they do that, Stick?
Well, the whole thing of it is they want to know if they have like-minded people working for them. They want to know if the person that they have.
Well, wait a minute. When you say like-minded, why not ask, do you believe in protecting the life of the unborn? Do you believe in having a strong military? Do you believe in supporting the police? Why are you asking about the 2020 election?
You're asking about the 2020 election, so again, you can have like-minded people around you in a sense, or you know who the like-minded people are. I'm pretty sure there's going to be people that say no, they're going to say no, but those same people that say no are not going to get a job. They're not going to get hired because Trump is a person that you have to think like him, you have to act like him, you have to move like him, and he definitely wants people that. So with the exceptions of Blacks for Trump, it's not going to be a lot of diversity. It's only going to be the people who are willing to, kneel and kiss the ring.
I'm hearing there's a lot of African Americans supporting Trump. I'm hearing that Trump did more for blacks than anybody else. What say you?
Man, I think that's a farce. I think it's out of the 14% of the people, the black folks that are in this nation, because that's what we make up, like 14%. At least that's what they tell us. I think out of that 14%, maybe 1% is Trumpers or blacks for Trump.
1%. You think Trump is only going to get 1% of the black vote?
I believe so, because we're smarter than that. We done been through this before, in the sense of having somebody up there, basically sliding out little racial digs and stuff like that. And before I forget, too, I seen that live you was in the other day with all those black folks that say they was wanting to vote for Trump, and how they was attacking you, man, my man.
I'm used to it. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. But you kept your cool. I know who Jammin is. Jammin, to me, like, he's a farce. He's what you call a cap. He's a lie. And like, he'll tell you about the government, but then wants you to vote for the government. So I don't get that.
Well, let me just make it clear. When I say I'm a fan of open dialogue, I really mean that to the utmost. So I go into predominantly Republican debate forums, and we hash it out. Yeah, you're right. I do often get cussed out or whatever. I don't return any of that because I'm not there to trade insults. I'm there to discuss the issues. But yeah, and I know a lot of folks on the right, when they go to liberal forums, the same thing happens to them.
Well, I would say that when you're having a debate, that both should be civil. But like I said, just sitting there listening, you were being civil. You didn't go back and forth with them. You wasn't trying to argue with them. Y'all went on the Showtime. You gave your spiel on why you see what you see, and you don't understand what they see. I see what I see. I seen everything live and in person.
Well, I don't want to go too deep in it because a lot of folks. I don't want to go too deep in it because a lot of folks in here don't know these people. But Slim Jim does. Slim Jim says Jammin speaks the truth. Sorry, you don't like that. So somebody in here does.
Jammin is horribly confused. He's a indigenous Latino person voting for Trump. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
That's the biggest thing I could say. In that's just like me saying I'm a black person voting for Trump. I don't need to say nothing else. That's
why do you? I gotta get you to elaborate on that. Why do you think a black person voting for Trump sounds problematic? What's wrong with a black supporting Trump?
It's not so much that it's problematic. What it is I know you may have been through something that makes you think that you're Tim Scott and you're accepted, but bro, all it's a farce. It's not true. It's like, you're not accepted, but you want to run with it. That's fine with me. You want to do that, do that. You want to run with that, run with that. But I just choose to tell the actual truth and not beat around the bush and make excuses for people. Like, I feel like Biden, I don't have to make excuses for. Even with them bringing up Bird and all of this other stuff, I still don't have to make no excuse for Biden. You know why? Because Bird speaks for himself. Before he passed, he had multiple presidents there that knew that he changed. Yeah. So just with that, I can know that Biden was using his mind, and he said, I understood. So I understand Biden and why he was there. So it's people bringing that up, it just, again, it shows that the difference. Biden understands forgiveness. Biden understands when you make.
What about they're going to bring up? What about Biden's handling
Trump
of
never asked for forgiveness.
Yeah, well, Trump doesn't think he did anything wrong, but what about Biden's handling of the border? Do you think Biden is doing a good job on that?
I think Biden had the same policies that Trump had for at least two to 3 years until one of them ran out, correct?
The COVID policy, yes.
Yeah, till it ran out, right?
But he could have extended that.
He could have extended it, but he didn't. What he did was, the people with the purse, he said, how about this? Y'all come up with a plan, I'll sign it, and we'll go forward. Now, the people with the purse still didn't do it. The Senate came up with the plan, which was bipartisan, but it was mostly Republican-backed. They sent it down to the people with the purse because Donald Trump, the person who loves America, said don't do it, they didn't do it because he needs something to run on. So if he really loves America,
I gotta push back.
on Biden.
Well, actually,
Biden, and actually, Biden also said, "How about this, Trump? Instead of me and you going back and forth, why don't you get in on this?" Now, if Trump was smart, he would have said, "Okay, I'm gonna tell them to do it, but I'm gonna get out there on the TV and said, yeah, I said do it." Yeah. They already think.
I gotta push back. And Joseph Trump Thibodeau in the comments said that's not the total truth. And I agree with Joseph because for the first 2 years of Biden's presidency, he was saying there's no problem on the border at all. They were begging Kamala to go down there and check. She refused to go down there. Now we're in the 3rd year of his presidency, almost coming to a conclusion. And finally, he's doing what you're suggesting. Why wait so long?
Because there was no problem at the border until Trump said it was a problem at the border.
You believe that?
There was no problem. I really do. I believe like this last little push that they did with the little 300 migrants, like there's mixed stories going around. They were saying that they were actually already about to be processed, and they was trying to hurry up and be first to actually be fully processed to go somewhere else. So the whole thing of it is we get the vision of them just pushing past the National Guard and people pulling on the gate, but at the end of the day, you don't know what Abbott is actually doing because those were his National Guard. Those weren't border agents. Those weren't federal. Those were National Guardmen.
Okay, I do got to move it on, but to sum up what you're saying that through at least the first couple years of Biden's term, there was no problem at the border.
It's not so much it was no problem, but it's not the problem that we think it is. We only think it's the way it is because of what Trump and his pushers are pushing out. They're pushing out there's a problem at the border, so everybody's, it's a problem at the border. But you know and I know plenty of people have been down to the border and have seen nothing. Like, there's open parts, of course, but there's not herds of people rushing through. There's not, and then this is the problem with that also. All of these women and children coming in are rapists and murderers. Come on, man. Like,
I don't buy into that. Yeah, I don't. You don't.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's obvious what it is. Like, I'm just one of those people that's honest enough and willing enough to see it with my open eyes. You can call me woke, you can call me whatever you want to see it, but I see it with my own eyes, and I'm not gonna let MAGA and or Donald Trump tell me otherwise what it is. I served in the military, he didn't, and I don't got no respect for him. Just to be honest, Mr. Burns, Sparrow 6 and all of, coming out with shoes. He never played basketball. Like, this dude, I ain't got no respect for him, man. Like,
I gotta go, Stick. I gotta go. Coming out with shoes and he ain't never played basketball. All right, I gotta go. All right, wow. No respect for Trump. The man coming out with shoes and he never played. Okay, that was really funny toward the end. All right, let me go back to the box. I don't know where that came from, but that shit was funny. Okay, look into the comments. Kanye West came out with shoes and he didn't play basketball. Oh, damn, you guys, I always enjoy talking to you folks, whether you're on the left or the right. Understand that I always enjoy talking to you folks. Not only can we exchange a little bit of education every now and then, but it also gets comical, and that was certainly one of those moments. Looking in the comments, wow, right. That's why folks in Chicago, New York, and other big cities started speaking up about the immigration being out of control and its negative impact on their communities. Gen X, let me just say this in regards to... And you're correct. There's a hell of a lot of folks in liberal cities now bitching about the influx of immigrants in their cities and saying that, blaming Biden that the borders are out of control. My opinion on that is, regardless of who you support, when it comes to being in a liberal city like Chicago or New York, if you're voting simply based on the border, in my opinion, I believe you're being hoodwinked, for lack of a better term, because the border, or better yet, the immigration issue in Chicago with those immigrants, that is not a natural occurrence in regards to people violating our southern border. If you want to call it an invasion, you want to call it undocumented, you want to call it illegals, whatever term you want to use. If you're in Chicago, New York, or some of these liberal cities where Abbott, and to a lesser degree DeSantis, has sent immigrants, and you're saying I'm not going to vote for Biden because of the immigration issue, that's an artificially created situation. I'm not saying that that same logic applies in Eagle Pass or El Paso or some border city. They have a legitimate right to have an opinion on this. But what's happening in Chicago or New York, that is artificially created by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and to a lesser degree Ron DeSantis of Florida. If Governor Greg Abbott in Texas did not bust those immigrants into Chicago, they wouldn't be having that problem. If he had to bust those immigrants to a variety of cities all across America, that problem wouldn't exist. Now, it sucks what they're going through in Chicago and New York. I'm not disagreeing with that, but that was artificially created. So that is not something Chicagoans should be blaming on Biden alone. Those folks didn't all have to go to that one town or these handful of cities. They could have dispersed those folks everywhere. The idea was your government claims to be a sanctuary city. We don't want these people, so we're going to send them all to you. That was done intentionally. It is an artificially created situation. And if you're in one of those cities, your focus really should be on DeSantis or Governor Greg Abbott. Now, like I said, if you're in El Paso or if you're in Phoenix somewhere, then it's different. Then it is Biden you can discuss. Because if you had left the situation in its own natural form and the immigrants came here because Biden has not been tough on the border, then Phoenix, El Paso, they got legitimate rights to complain. But what's happening in Chicago would not have happened under those circumstances. You needed Abbott, you needed DeSantis to intervene and deliberately target those cities. Blaming Biden without blaming them is not being accurate. Looking in the comments, El Paso is fine, says Johnny Lowe. Depends on who you talk to. Continuing on with the program, though, we'll go straight to I don't know what that says there. Elisa's Life. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Asking that question, if the box didn't take my last guess. So we'll just continue right on after that. Dr. Fine, does that say? I don't know what just happened there. We'll try it again. Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Andy, how are you?
I am great.
So why are they asking to apply for a job at the RNC, the Republican National Convention? Why are they asking, or committee or whatever it's called, why are they asking if you believe the 2020 election is stolen? Why aren't they asking, do you believe in protecting the sanctity of life? Do you believe in small government, self-reliance? Why are they asking about the 2020 election for a job?
Because Trump wants to know will they put their morals away and lie for him?
Trump wants them to put away their morals and lie for him. So you're suggesting that Trump doesn't have morals?
Yeah, that's why he's got the Stormy Daniels case, right?
Well, the man wanted a little bit of sex on the side.
Well, did he have to pay what for it? And did she have to be the kind of star she was? I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, but in regards to putting morals away, folks are going to suggest that Biden is the guy that you should be pointing for, and that Trump, gave us a good economy, gave us less.
I'm not asking everybody to admit to something that has already been proven in court is a lie. And because Fox had to pay Dominion how much?
770, I believe it was, millions.
So this is something we know has already been proven to be false. So he wants them to lie. He wants to know if they'll lie.
What is the purpose, though? We're not going to overturn the 2020 election. We're almost on the 2024. What is the purpose of continuing to say this? Huh?
To massage his ego.
You believe that he's continuing to lie about a national election strictly to help his ego?
Okay, we are talking about one of the biggest narcissists to ever walk the earth. Let's be serious. And I would like to very happily tell you that you remember when you said you didn't think Alabama would turn blue?
I still don't think. I know that election you're talking about. That is shocking. But you think
69% in a solid red Donald Trump district.
Wow. It's astonishing.
Women mad.
It's
and you know what? That's 2.5 hours from me, but it's an hour from Sand Mountain.
What, when I heard that yesterday, it came up on the program that they had replaced was it a congressperson?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. District Representative 10. She ran on women's rights and won.
What else is out there in that region for a Democrat to win in Alabama? Is it like a major city out there or something? How did that happen?
But it's always been red.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is a huge, like I said, this was a deeply red Trump plus number district, and now it's blue.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Speaking of, we were talking about the election in the beginning. On the YouTube side of things, Sandra says, in my opinion, I don't think you should be able to vote if you don't pay taxes. Do you believe folks who are unemployed or, unable to pay taxes, do you believe that should exclude you from being able to vote?
No, because that's not what our Constitution says, and that's how they disenfranchise people of other communities.
Well, when you say our Constitution, didn't they originally have it stated that you had to be a white property owner that was
Yeah, but the Constitution is a living document, and it changes. That's why it has amendments. And if it didn't do it, it's taking amendments, so they shouldn't fuss.
So why do you think somebody would suggest that you need to be a taxpayer before you can even vote?
Well, that sounds like an agent of WS supremacy, because you have to own property. And property generally comes from generational wealth.
And something that also kind of echoes my sentiment I made to the other gentleman not long ago, that we judge everything based on wealth. So you have to have a certain level of wealth before you can even vote. You got to be making money to vote and paying taxes. I'm with you. I don't agree that, because you could be doing all kinds of other things to the system that doesn't involve contributing money. And I don't believe in that as well. I don't think simply paying taxes should be a qualifier to be able to vote or not.
Well, people don't understand our Constitution in the first place. They don't understand how we get amendments. They don't understand it's a living, breathing document. They don't understand that we can change it to make it better to reflect ourselves.
Well, here's the difference though. Like on the other side, Cohen said you should have to contribute to society in order to vote and have a say in it. Voting should be a privilege, not a right. Now, contributing.
Then you don't believe in the Constitution. Why do you want to stay in this country?
And I will, in addition to what you're saying, I will also say you can contribute to society in many ways that don't involve paying taxes. You could be doing, everything doesn't have to revert back to making money and paying. Because that's what this is about. Paying taxes is about money. You could be contributing to this country without ever paying a dime. You could be retired and simply teaching children for free. You're contributing to society. You don't have to be paying taxes to do that.
Exactly. And there's something else I wanted to bring up besides the fact that Alabama's turning blue.
That's crazy. That is crazy, though.
I told you. I've been telling you all this time. You go, Andy, I don't think so. Oh, first election's in. One for me.
Yeah.
Did you see the videos about Trump and his new Bible? And this is his second Bible.
The $59.99 one?
Yeah, and there's a $50 one already in the Amazon store called the Patriot Bible. That's the one Michael Flynn's been out baptizing people under, Trump's name under. Now, come on, right here at Easter, the man is grifting a holy book during the week before Easter.
Well, and I will say something. In regards to calling the Bible the Patriot Bible, is God all about patriotism? Isn't patriotism being loyal to one particular country?
I don't know, because that particular Bible has Trump on the front of it with Jesus' hand on his shoulder.
Wait a minute. Trump is on the front of the Bible?
You can look it up. It's in the Amazon store.
Oh my God. So what's going on here? Why would you put a human on the front of the Bible?
Because Trump is trying to, like I said, you've seen the videos of them getting baptized in his name. I've even had somebody tell me on TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Trump was a deity and Jesus was a man. I swear to you, I kid you not.
Wait a minute. Trump was the deity and Jesus was a regular mortal. So Trump is actually above Jesus.
Apparently one of those televangelists that like to hang out, all together. One of them said he had a dream. It was a prophecy that he saw Trump sitting on the right hand of God. And I'm like, that's Jesus' chair, y'all.
Where is this now? One of the things I will say, because a lot of folks favor the country under Trump, but what do you think he's done? Even if you disagree with Trump or you lean left, what do you think Trump has done for the right that is so high that they would put him in, in the level of, Christ?
I don't know. I give up. I have no idea how these people get to where they are anymore. I give up even trying. I feel like they have so far diverged from reality at this point that there is no tracking it. I'm done.
But then I gotta throw this one on you. Being a woman yourself, you are in one of the Bible Belt states, but this is a strong comment. I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. It's coming from Gen Xer on YouTube, certainly a friend of the program. Me and Gen X go back. You know who Gen X is. He's on YouTube.
Yeah, he wants me to make him a sandwich. That ain't happening.
Well, this might be worse than a sandwich. He states the only ones who shouldn't be able to vote are women. They vote based on feelings and impulse and not logic. Our country is in chaos because of it. Women should not be able to vote, Andy. What say you?
Louder, Gen X, so the rest of the red Republican women can hear you, so that even more defect to the Democratic Party, so more cities look like Huntsville. Please say that a little louder, Gen X, just one more time.
Well, the program is these programs are permanently saved on YouTube under every program we do, folks. The Handsome Liberal on YouTube, click on live. Same way it's titled here, it's in eternity. So he said it loud enough.
Republican women, y'all hear that? They don't want y'all to vote. See, we've been telling y'all all along. The Republican Party doesn't care about you Republican women. Defect now. Thanks there, Gen X. I appreciate you.
Well, she in the comments said, what's wrong with Huntsville? Huntsville going blue. What the hell's wrong with Huntsville?
Nothing. It has the largest number of engineers per capita than anywhere in the world. So it's probably one of the most educated places. That's all. All
right. I do got to move it on. But so to end our conversation, you believe Alabama could possibly go blue or at least purple?
Well, considering that Huntsville went blue, yes, because Huntsville City is in the middle. That district, the city's in the middle, but the rest of that's all rural. So that it's 69% went red. Look it up, baby. That is, it is astounding.
If Alabama goes blue, will you be safe there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because
wow.
I live in the city, and I live next to this. Look, I live in a bigger city than when they got smacked with the cherry in.
Okay.
So
I gotta go. All right, Andy.
They got smacked with the cherry win. I live in the biggest city. They're not coming here.
All right, we'll see. A lot of folks are really getting upset, but behind how they think Trump is being treated.
If I have to take one for the team to make America free, I'm willing to do that more than Donald Trump.
All right, fair enough. I can never hate on a woman willing to take one for the team, Andy. Appreciate you coming through. All right, looking in the comments, you got some characters on this live, says Joseph Fisher. Well, the live is also open to you, Joseph, anytime. You understand we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So understand when you come in here, you can certainly speak without any type of candor. It's wide open to you. So looking in the comments, funny, I left the Democrat Party to Republican because the Democrats, as in rodents, the Democrat Party is currently in the process of destroying the country. The open border says it all. Trump 2024. That came from Return of the Mac. That's the 1990 song. That's his name. The devil finally figured out a way to hurt God and God's people, and that is in the form of Trump. That's why so many people are following him, suggesting that God is under threat by MAGA, who have been sent here by, I suppose, the folks below, demons. That's really strong. I had somebody suggest earlier that Trump is the Antichrist. I'm not very religious, so I don't get involved in those type of arguments or those type of debates, but wow. I like to keep religion out of my politics because I think right now, we already are far, far too judgmental. Nobody's willing to reach across the aisle. But then when you start saying folks are demons and angels and antichrist, and it just really destroys any hope of ever working with the other side. So you won't hear that here. But because I don't censor comments, you will hear it from others. It's not about Trump, buddy. It's about taxes. You know, before I go back to the boss, Jay Gar. Wow, I haven't seen that today. So certainly a little bit of generosity always is appreciated. Thank you for the hat and mustache, Jay Gar. Thank you. In regards to, and there's another Jay Gar. Thank you. Yeah, gotta give it up. In regards to it not being about Trump, it being about taxes. To me, it sounds like we are a bunch of wealthy folks bitching about money. And it goes back to my original statement where in America, everything is financially oriented. American citizens are some of the wealthiest on earth. It would be hard to name, even a handful of countries where the average citizen lives more wealthier than an American. We're at the top of the damn pyramid. And in America, everybody's talking about I'm paying too much in taxes. Damn, how rich do you want to be? We live fairly well compared to the rest of mankind on the globe. And we're probably some of the biggest complainers suggesting that we should even live better. I don't know. I do think we have a huge greed streak running through us. And for some of you religious folks, I think that's a sin. I think it's in the commandment or something like that. Going back to the box though. You know what I'm tired for? Wait a minute. You know what I'm tired for subsidizing for the billionaires. Let's make them pay their fair share, says Hardy. That is certainly coming from the progressive side of the aisle. Continuing on, we'll go straight to, I don't know what's been going on with the box. HR Gator, good afternoon. Asking that question if the box comes up. Small businesses are suffering, says Ariel. Here's the issue on that. The box is hesitating. We'll give it a second. If not, we'll move on. Small businesses are always bitching and complaining. And my point is this. When Obama was running for president 2007, Joe the plumber spread the wealth around. Small businesses were saying the same thing back then. We're struggling, things like that. You get to go damn near 20 years without a minimum wage increase. And you're complaining the whole time that you're struggling, even though you're charging more for your good or service as a small business while paying no increase on labor. Are you really struggling, or are you feeding the public and politicians a bunch of bullshit? You're not paying any increase in wages commensurate to inflation, but you're charging more for your goods and services over the same period of time, suggesting you're struggling and that inflation is too high. I don't get it. How do you get a 20-year break on raising wages and complain that you're struggling the whole time? If you can't afford to increase, maybe you shouldn't be in business. Maybe you're failing at what you're doing. If you need a 20-year break in increasing the minimum wage because you're struggling so damn much, 20-year break and you're not having to increase the price of labor, you should be balling, not struggling. You should be, can you imagine if the price of fuel froze for 20 years without any increase in the price of gas? 20 straight years. You think truck drivers will be saying they're struggling? You should be balling. Somebody's lying, folks. Somebody, don't fall for the okie doke. Somebody is lying. 20-year break and not increasing the minimum wage, and they're still struggling. Minimum wage is the same as it was damn near when Biden, or better yet Obama, was talking to Joe the plumber back in 2007. They were struggling in, they're struggling now. What would that be, 14 years later? No, it's even more than that. It's even more than that. They're struggling? No way, no how. Going back to the box. Appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Get your boy up to 120,000. We can certainly make that happen if you tap the screen. We'll go to Gandalf. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Why are they being asked, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen just to become to put in an application to work for the RNC. They're being asked, do you believe the 2020 election is stolen? Why would they ask that question on an application, Gandalf?
Well, I didn't see that, but I believe what you're saying. I think that he's just trying to get the right people in place. And if you look at the way the election went last in 2020, Biden didn't even go out on the campaign trail. And you're telling me he got 81 million votes? That's mind-boggling. I mean, the most that ever got, more than Obama, more than Hillary Clinton, more than Trump the first time. There's no way. You have to be some kind of fool to believe that crap.
Yeah, but here is the issue then. If there was so much widespread fraud, as you're pointing out, there's no way in hell you could have got more votes than Obama. Why is the Trump side of the aisle having such a difficult time presenting concrete evidence of it, other than just saying it happened? They can't show, I mean, millions of votes. You can't show us a large portion of folks cheating?
They are suppressing the evidence. They will not allow it in court. That's how it's getting out there. And the people on the left are believing this, that Biden got 81 million votes. It just shows you how, I don't want to call them stupid, because I don't think the left is stupid, but I just think they're naive. Let's put it that way. If you think I voted for Obama the first time. If you think that a person that doesn't get out and campaign on the trail is going to get more votes than Obama did, and, I loved the guy in the beginning. I mean, he spoke well, he handled himself well, but he put more people on unemployment than any president before him. It's out there. You can look it up.
Okay. So wait a minute. When you suggest they're suppressing the evidence, or if you think folks got more votes, by campaigning from his basement, how do you respond to somebody who would say, if you think Mike Pence, who would have been the second in charge for an additional 4 years, would deliberately lie and say he lost when it doesn't help him out at all? How do you respond to that? Why would Mike Pence suggest that Trump lost, knowing that he would continue his job?
Because he's part of the club in Washington. None of those people, well, there's a few now that are not in the club, but none of those people in Washington give a damn about you and I, handsome. Nobody on this app, they don't care about us, man. They don't give a damn about us, the left or the right. This guy comes along and he says, look, I'm going to fix the economy. I'm going to bring us, where everybody can afford some shit. And, excuse my language.
Don't worry about it.
And he did. He brought the gas prices down. He, my 401k was killing it. Now we're in the gutter.
Wait, you see a or you think we're doing that bad right now?
You seen how bad our deficit is, and they still want to send money to Ukraine and around the world? We're going to be at $40 trillion before Biden's out of office.
Yeah, but when you talk about the deficit, how bad it is right now in 2024. If I took you back to 1980 during the Reagan administration, they would view the deficit under Trump as being horrible. The truth is the deficit has continued getting worse and worse under every commander-in-chief. I don't know why all of a sudden Biden gets in there and that's such a major issue. Every president we've had has increased the deficit substantially. That's kind of the American way at this point.
Well, put it this way. Before Obama got in, we were at $9 trillion. He doubled it.
Nikki Haley says Trump doubled it as well. Was she lying?
No, she wasn't lying. He did. But we have never, ever paid illegal immigrants to come into this country, and we're up to 30 million illegal immigrants right now. Illegal. They're not refugees. They're not this or that, what the left likes to call them. They are illegal immigrants. And now we're paying them. What about our veterans? They can't even get their crap taken care of because we're taking money from our veterans now to give to these illegal immigrants to take care of them. It's out there. You can find it. It's plain and simple to find. We're spending billions of dollars on illegal immigration.
I mention this on every show when that comes up, where you said that. I mention this often when folks say what you just said about, you know, the money going overseas and our veterans are not being properly taken care of. We just started helping in Ukraine. That war just started, 2 years ago in February. What were veterans saying before the money was going to Ukraine? Were they super happy?
No, they were not. They were still not being taken care of.
Right.
But when Trump got in, he said, look, you veterans can go anywhere you want. He made it possible for a veteran to go to a neighborhood doctor if they wanted to. And the government would pay for it. We're not there anymore. I have a son that's in the military right now, handsome, and he is struggling. He's getting, you know, he's a specialist. He's probably making a little over $1,000 a month. And people think that, or I'm sorry, maybe $1,400 a month. Now, these soldiers, what people don't realize, they're not being fully taken care of. They still have to pay for meals. They still have to pay for their clothing. They get an allowance, but it's never.
So do you believe the military would be better off if we had Trump in there than Biden?
100%.
Okay, let me tell you why I asked you that question. Trump believes we should bring everybody home, get out of overseas conflicts, you know, only focus on America first. If we do what Trump is suggesting, would we really need a military the size that we have now? Wouldn't we end up having layoffs if Trump?
That's why people fear us or respect us, because our military is so strong and so.
But hang on a second. If we're no longer getting involved in overseas conflicts, what are you going to just do? You're going to just have a whole bunch of military personnel just sitting around? If we do what Trump suggests, how could you do that without laying off some servicemen? You don't need all those people.
You do need them, because
what are they going to be doing?
They're going to be ready if somebody starts some crap. Remember when little Rocket Man said, I got these missiles that I'm going to send here and there?
Yeah.
And Trump said, I got a bigger button than you do and mine work. Well, that's called, you know, he shut little Kim down.
So, but wait a minute, here's where I'm confused. So we would keep the military the same size, even though there's no overseas conflicts going on, to keep them ready. They're just sitting around doing nothing, just nothing but training procedures, sitting around all in the jets of parks, so they're just testing and washing military equipment that's never being used. You don't see any notion that we should shrink this down if it's just sitting here being ready all the time.
It's not shrinking it, it's keeping it ready and creating. The military doesn't just sit around. They build new products, new weapons, or advanced equipment, just in case. Our military is the most important thing. It's what made our country. You know, you take it back to not the Civil War, but when we fought the British and defeated them, we didn't have all the equipment. We had to call other people in to help other countries came in to help us. You had France come in and give us a hand. You had other countries fight with us. Even some Germans fought with us. I mean, we are obligated to protect these people around the world. So we have to have a ready military. To me, if you get out of all, just like when the Iraq and Afghanistan war ended, we had cutbacks. I mean, just having a whole bunch of people sitting around, quote unquote, ready, I just don't see it. I mean, it's not going to be long before the bean counters and folks start suggesting that, as you said, take care of veterans, take care of poor people. Why are we spending a ton of money
to keep somebody quote unquote ready. They're not spending all this money in France or Germany or any other country, and they seem to be okay. Why are we paying all this money when people are starving and homeless just to keep some dude ready for something that's not happening?
Handsome. We're not, because we're taking care of France and Germany. I mean, you know, if somebody attacks France or Germany, we're there to take care of them. And the advanced equipment that they're building is man-free, most of it. So we won't have to have that service technic or that service person up in a plane. We can have the technician on the ground that's operating that equipment in the air to take care of business. It won't get bigger in the aspect, in the way that you're thinking. It'll get bigger in technology, not people.
Okay, I gotta say I vehemently disagree, but real quick on YouTube, I don't know where to go with this, but I seen someone wanted me to ask you this. Don Jackson says to ask you, why did you attack the Capitol building? What the hell is that? Why? Go ahead.
We did not attack the Capitol building.
Okay.
All right. It has been proven that the FBI was involved in it. Nancy Pelosi would not put the National Guard out there. Antifa was involved in it. It was a big.
Wait, Antifa, Nancy Pelosi, the FBI was MAGA involved at all?
MAGA was involved in walking in the building.
So
Yeah.
so MAGA, so Antifa, Nancy Pelosi, and the FBI screwed up there that day. But did MAGA do anything wrong there that day?
MAGA did not do anything wrong, in my opinion. They were there waiting on Trump to come over, give his speech, and that was it. Shit started because there were a few bad eggs out there, and some of them were not MAGA people. Most of them were not MAGA people that started the crap. It was started because there was not enough security out there, and the bad eggs in there that were in there started some crap. If we had had the National Guard like Donald Trump asked for, none of that crap would have happened.
Well, let me. This is an excellent rebuttal, I think, to what you're stating, and I'll give it to you to respond to. Jeff C. on YouTube said, "Why would Antifa and Black Lives Matter stop the certification of their own preferred candidate?" What say you?
Did I say black?
You said that. Let's go with Antifa. Why would Antifa, if they favor Biden, fight to stop him from being certified?
Because they do not want Trump to run again. They do not want Trump to ever. Antifa is paid by George Soros.
You got evidence of that?
No, I don't.
Then how do you know?
I just feel it,
Okay.
all right? It's like you feel like Biden won the election fairly.
No, I don't. No. I don't feel like Biden won the election. What I'm saying is, I don't have access to ballot offices, polling places. I don't have access to the FBI the government's documents or the inner workings. What I'm saying is, everyone that does is saying Biden won. Trump's own administration. There is not one member of Trump's administration that served with him that says he won the 2020 election. Why is that?
Because they don't want him to come in and fuck up their party.
The people that Trump gave a job to, from Mike Pence on down, they would not even have a job in Washington if it wasn't for Trump hiring them. Why would they say he lost the election?
You ever had a backstabber, somebody who was talking to your old lady behind your back?
I've heard of company snitches and backstabbers, yes. But the whole business, everybody you hired is saying you lost?
It's a club, and you're not a part of it.
So-
Neither is Trump.
So what you're saying is Trump hired a whole club of backstabbers?
He hired a lot of them, but he didn't know he's...
Okay, unfortunately, It occasionally happens. Gandalf, by the way, you're always welcome back. Gandalf got removed from the program. It does happen. We do occasionally have guests get censored. We don't do it here. We absolutely don't do it here, but it does happen. Anyhow, folks, that is, we believe in uncensored free speech, but we can't control the TikTok gods. That does happen. So apologize. Gandalf is always welcome back on the program. Nevertheless, looking in the comments, and he was getting hammered on both YouTube and TikTok. Nevertheless, by the way, folks, smash that like button by YouTubers. Certainly 400 plus of you in YouTube. Wow. Appreciate those numbers. We should get the likes up. You have to hold the like button down for a couple seconds, I think it is, to make it work on YouTube. So certainly feel free to get the likes up. Same thing on TikTok. Appreciate 900 plus of you in here. If you would smash this, tap the screen. Don't smash it. Tap the screen on TikTok. Get your boy likes up to around 130,000. A lot of people that Trump gave a job to are Republicans in name only, says Matt Barrick. Rhinos. Here's my issue on that. Biden fucks up at the border. He needs to be held accountable for it. Biden ruins the economy. He needs to be held accountable for it. If Trump hires an entire administration of rhinos that you believe are destructive to the economy, or to the country rather, why would you put him back in office? You wouldn't vote Biden back in if he destroyed the border or the economy. You're admitting that Trump's HR talents are kaput. You're suggesting that everybody he hired is a piece of shit. What has he done to suggest that he's learned from that? Why would you put him back in office? If you're going to hold somebody accountable for screwing up, how does Trump get a pass? You're suggesting his entire administration is crap. He doesn't have to like or dislike Trump to ask that question. Why not Vivek? Ron DeSantis, they're not doing that. You don't hear Ron DeSantis complaining that his entire administration are backstabbers. Why not get somebody in there that not only has a good, solid, conservative record, but also know how to hire cabinet members? Ron DeSantis seems far more apt for the job than Trump, unless you overlook Trump's flaws and only give him credit for things you favor. I just don't understand it. Looking in the comments. Yes, I'm in Florida. Rhonda DeSantis did say the Republicans are turning on him. Yeah, and he's right. I think Ron DeSantis, not Rhonda DeSantis, but calling the guy Rhonda. Ron DeSantis will be fine as long as he comes back to the Trump train. But if he remains critical of Trump, yeah, then he's in jeopardy. His whole career will be in jeopardy. Looking in the comments, you guys are not big DeSantis fans, huh? DeSatan was trying to outflank Trump. That comes out harsh. Yikes. Trump was a businessman and trusted the wrong people when he got in the first time. He did more than trust the wrong people when he got in the first time. He hired a bunch of rhinos that folks are suggesting gave the election to someone who was an illegitimate victor. That's far more than hiring the wrong people. Additionally, after Trump was no longer president, he continued. As opposed to, I don't remember the name of the woman in Pennsylvania, but Trump went with Dr. Oz. Trump went with Herschel Walker. He's still doing it. In the eyes of MAGA, not talking about liberals or Democrats, the eyes of MAGA, Trump is still making bad appointments. He's still doing it. Because in Pennsylvania, there was a woman that believed the election was stolen. She was running for senator. Instead of Trump going with her, he went with Dr. Oz. MAGA wasn't happy with that choice. Same with Herschel Walker. He's still doing it. He's still picking bad people. So understand that. Real quick in the comments. My neighbor likes Trump. I don't. We still grill together every weekend. Let's get back to that. I love that A1. I would grill and hang out with MAGA any day. Absolutely. And liberals alike. I do believe we should get back to that. But in this environment where I believe unity starts from the top, our leaders are not promoting that. Trump would certainly not suggest you have barbecue with a bunch of liberals. And right now, Biden is talking about MAGA like they're demons. Leadership starts from the top. So I'm always against anyone who suggests we should ignore what Trump says and unite on our own. A platoon is not going to do what's right if the general sucks. It starts from the top. And leadership at the top is very divisive right now. So going back to the box, Faye, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Faye, if it lets you in. United States, I do see that. Day one, Dems had mouth and went after him. My 3 kids, when you say day one, folks went after Trump, you're ignoring day 0. The day Trump was sworn into office in 2017, January of 2017, how many years was he saying Obama was born in another country? Lock her up. On day 1, Trump had a lot of enemies already. You're ignoring all of that to suggest, well, okay, he's been saying that the first black president, the last Democratic president, should be disqualified because he wasn't born in the country. He's born in Kenya and all of this. But on day 1, you should give him a fair shake. On day 1, you should ignore all of the things he's been doing on day 0 and all the negative days before that. I don't think that's logical. I don't really believe that's people are going to have an issue with him. I mean, Trump was making enemies before day 1. So you can't ignore that. I just want to say that. Whether you favor Trump or not, you can't ignore the fact that he was criticizing any and everybody before he became president. Real quick, Hillary said that about Obama as well. Yeah, and they had a problem. My 3 kids, they had a problem. Trump said it a hell of a lot longer, though. JC, good afternoon. JC, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been listening in. I saw you in the comments. What say you? The floor is yours.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I'm enjoying every minute of your show, man.
Appreciate you being here.
Let's just start off with, what do you think the true reason the border is the way it is?
America has intervened in these countries, destroyed their economies, exploited their labor, and they're hurting, so they're coming to the country that did it.
So that's probably true, half part. Let me give you the real reason. Because this gives Democrats more congressional representation, so this gives them the upper hand. They're doing this because they know they're losing the vote, the working man vote. So if they increase the population, they increase Congress votes, important political positions that they want to try to take the upper hand in.
Let me, hold on, hang on. I'll let you continue, but let me just say this. You asked why the border the way it is. You're suggesting why Democrats are letting them in. I'm giving you the point where I think they are deciding to leave their own damn homelands and come here to begin with. Now, you're probably right. A lot of Democrats see them as turning into votes. I don't disagree with that. But there is a reason why somebody would decide to permanently leave their homeland. That needs to be discussed.
Yep, but have you seen the recent videos of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, every one of them saying the border needs to be closed? I mean, this was like 3-4 years ago. We have to have a secure border. We have to have a closed border. We can't have an open border. And now this is happening because of the election results. Now you're asking for proof about the election results.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the state of Pennsylvania. We'll just start with that one. Do you know how many mail-in ballots there was in 2016?
No, I do not.
About 200,000.
So what's your point?
Do you have any idea how many there was in 2020?
No.
Well over 2 million. Now that's only one state, and that's a small state. So you're asking for proof. There's no way that they can go verify millions upon millions upon millions of mail-in ballots in a reasonable amount of time. They just can't do it.
So you believe the whole state of Pennsylvania cheated, and all of Trump's own top cops and the Mike Pence's, all of them looked into it, and they all decided to cheat for the liberals as well.
So here's the deal. This is a fact. You can go look how many mail-in ballots there was used in all of these battleground states that Trump supposedly lost in, that this is the first time any president has won all of the bellwether counties and, got this many votes and still lost the election. First time in history. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that didn't answer the question I just asked you. Why are there so many Republicans, Trump's entire administration? Why are they all saying he lost?
So here's the thing. For one, they know he didn't lose.
Why are they saying it?
Go around saying it because it's going to create a civil war. I got to watch my language on here.
You believe Mike Pence, as vanilla as Mike Pence is, wants civil unrest in this country?
No, that's why he's going with it. That's why he's saying the election is what it is. They can't go get all of the evidence, man. It's impossible.
So you believe to prevent civil unrest in regards to the election, all of these folks that are on Trump's administration, they're all lying in tandem about it. They're all telling a lie about it in sync.
So Mike Pence is part of the establishment. I mean, there's no doubt about that. A career politician. He's seen the system over many, many years. Just go with the flow. And guess what? You're just going to go with the flow at a time like this because there's millions upon millions of mail-in ballots that should not be legal, that should not be allowed. They went from 200,000 to well over 2 million in Pennsylvania alone, and every state is like that.
Let me ask you a question I often ask guests that have a similar opinion to yours there, JC. Let's say, now I understand how you feel the election went, and there's, that you have a right to believe it, but let me ask you this. Let's say for shits and giggles, Trump actually did lose the election. I know you disagree, but let's say, for instance, he did lose it. Who could actually tell you that he lost and you would actually believe them?
Oh, no. I mean, I would probably never believe it, to be completely honest. I'm just going to be completely honest because I use my common sense and this optical. Just use your eyes. Everywhere this man goes, he just floods anywhere. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. This has never happened.
So in other words, your mind is made up so much that there is no amount of evidence that anybody could present to convince you otherwise. You've seen enough. There's nothing else anybody can say. You believe Trump lost, and there's no need to even do an investigation because, as you're saying, I'm not going to believe anybody.
No, you could prove me if
Who could tell you and you would actually believe them?
So if there was somehow, let's just say Trump became president again, and he had a truly trusted party beside him, a truly trusted team, and they did their research, but there's impossible. You can't do the research now. You're not answering a name. Who else in Washington could tell you this and you would actually, is Trump the only man that's been in Washington you think is trustworthy? So Trump is the only man that's not part of the establishment in my eyes. Okay. So I don't trust the establishment, man. You know what I mean? So essentially you don't trust everybody in Washington. I don't trust the government at all. Okay. And when Trump was president, he was the leader of the government. Did you trust him? Yes, I did. But no. He's not the leader of the government. I mean, here, do you know the Democrats have a lawsuit right now? They're saying that people are allowed to be registered to vote in 2 different states at the same time? No, I haven't heard that. Yeah, do your research. It's true. I can go on and on and on with Trump's accomplishments in the middle of a crisis that this world has never seen. Yeah, but here's what I'm baffled with. If you believe all of Washington
is the establishment and untrustworthy, but Trump, because he's not part of the establishment, he is trustworthy. You do realize that gives Trump a hell of a lot of superpowers, where he is the only person that can tell you anything that you'll absolutely believe. Everybody else is lying. Only this one guy. You realize how powerful that makes him?
No, listen, it's not that I believe what comes out of his mouth. I believe what my eyes see.
Okay.
Everywhere he goes in this country. You know what I mean? It's obvious. Have I seen a Biden flag, a Biden bumper sticker, a Biden hat, a Biden T-shirt, anything? Nothing.
So
I travel a lot. I talk to a lot of people.
So you're judging your take on the election, or you're analyzing who won by how many placards you see on people's front lawn and shirts and things like that?
Well, it's not that. I just know a lot of people. Everybody, the common working man, votes for Trump everywhere I go.
Okay. How do you respond to folks like that are in the comments, for instance, now saying that, it's cult-like, or you're worshiping Trump, where you elevate him above everybody else in Washington to the point where you believe him and the things he's saying, but everybody else is lying because they're part of the establishment?
Well, let me say this for you. You see my name on that screen? My two initials?
Yes, I do.
I'm named after Jimmy Carter. I come from a political family, and they're all really die-hard Democrats.
Okay.
But they say the party, it is not the same. Now, John F. Kennedy coming up, he'll get my vote. You know what I mean? I'm not a huge Trump supporter. I just don't trust the establishment, man. That's the thing.
Then why not vote for Kennedy then?
I would.
Well, you can. Are you going to vote for him? You actually can. He's running.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. I watched him last night on News Nation. I watch him every time I
So
can.
are you going to vote for Trump or Kennedy?
If I like what Kennedy does, he may get my vote.
Okay. All right. Well, Kennedy...
He's has said a lot of things that are, against the government, and he talks about his family that's been offed by the government, and he 100% believes that. Do you know that?
Yeah. Well, I know his whole, I don't, the thing with Kennedy with me is he's not really discussing any issues that I'm concerned with. So for that reason, I don't care what he's, what his value is. I'm just not interested in him because I don't know where he stands on the issues that I'm concerned with. He's talking about doing things that are of no meaning. I don't look, as far as I'm concerned, I've been vaccinated. I didn't die like a lot of my beloved MAGA or Q told me I was in December of 2021. I didn't die from being vaccinated or getting the booster shot. So I don't want a president, rehashing the COVID vaccinations. That's over with. But that's one of the primary things that Kennedy is discussing. So he's kind of disqualified with me. Talk about the economy, talk about, women's right to choose, gun rights, and things like that. I don't want to hear about vaccinations.
I think he will in due time, but,
You got 7 months left. You should be talking about it now.
It's going to happen quick. Do you know Joe Biden is denying him protection from the Secret Service?
Yes, I do. I'm not a fan of that. All
right, well, I really could go on and on with you. I would appreciate 30 more seconds to say something.
Floor is yours.
And then I'll get off there and you can laugh at me, whatever you want to do. So
go.
Pro-Trump, lowest unemployment in 50 years, 2.4 million out of poverty, stocks hit record highs. He cut $50 billion in regulatory costs. He unleashed American energy, number one energy producer in the world we were. He had put in 187 new federal judges. He unchained Wall Street. He put in 2 Supreme Court judges. He addressed the opioid crisis. He lowered drug prices. He protected and improved Medicare for seniors and everybody. He signed the Mission Act. He has protected religious minorities. He rebuilt the military. He destroyed ISIS and Soleimani. He killed al-Baghdad, that real bad guy over there, the largest military pay raise in history. He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. He secured our borders. He solidified funding for black colleges. He signed the First Step Act into law. He created over 7 million jobs, the largest tax cuts in history. Most Americans working, and he brought home over 50 hostages from across seas. Now, I would like to ask, what has Joe Biden done?
Okay, I got to move it on. I will respond to most of what you stated. I did take notes. Appreciate you coming through, Jay-Z.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Have a good day.
You too. Now, in regards to many of his statements, lowest unemployment, stocks, energy, federal judges, ISIS embassy, move to Jerusalem border, black colleges, 7 million jobs, tax cuts, and bringing home 50 hostages. I did get most of what he stated. In regards to the lowest unemployment, stocks, and energy, there are a lot of analysts that say Biden has done better. Now, I know a hell of a lot of folks are looking at their own bottom line, what they pay at the grocery store for the price of groceries, and they're judging things based on that. And I get it, that makes sense. However, most financial analysts, even the ones on Fox News, are suggesting the economy under Biden actually is doing better than it was under Trump when you talk about unemployment rates, job creation, and how the stock market is doing. So I don't deal with a lot of that stuff. I'm just telling you what they're saying, even on the right side of the aisle. Remember, we were about to have a recession under Biden. They were promising a recession. That didn't happen. But if you listen to the financial analysts, I'm even talking about the likes of Neil Cavuto and Charles Payne on Fox, even they are admitting the stock market, the jobs numbers. Remember Trump's 3.5% unemployment rate, lowest of all time. He used to brag about Biden 3.1. Biden 3.1. So that kills the first three things he said. Lowest unemployment, stocks, energy. Gas prices under Biden are super high. Folks would suggest that more drilling, more energy is being produced in America under Biden than it was under Trump. Once again, I don't deal with all of that stuff. I'm going by what analysts in the market are saying. And this is also on the right side of the aisle. Also, continuing on, federal judges. Trump appointed a bunch of federal judges. Is that when you say, what did Trump do? If you favor Trump, that's a huge accomplishment. But if you don't, it's just the opposite. So we'll go with that. Now, Trump, he stated Soleimani and taking down ISIS. Didn't ISIS-K just kill over 130 Russians last week? ISIS is not gone. So the idea that Trump got rid of ISIS is a farce. They just killed over 130 people last week. So no, ISIS is not gone. Moving the embassy to Jerusalem. I bet you that ain't something you're going to brag about right now. With Israel being accused of genocide, with damn near half of the world saying that Israel's going above and beyond. Moving the Israel to Jerusalem, I don't know how America benefits from that at all. I really don't. That just benefits Israel. It basically tells the Palestinians, America's not on your side. If anything, moving the embassy to Jerusalem created division in this country as well. I don't see any benefit. Now, I'm not saying that Trump didn't do things. Some of the stuff he's saying, we can debate it. But moving the embassy, I believe from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, that's not an accomplishment. You can't go to the grocery store and buy cereal cheaper because the embassy is in Jerusalem. It doesn't even make cereal cheaper in Israel. It's not an accomplishment. That just says, Israel, we stand by you more than the Palestinians. So I don't know if you'll put that as an accomplishment. Now, the border, even though I tend to lean left a little bit, I do believe the border is, Trump looks way better on the border than President Biden. I believe Trump would certainly be better at securing the border than Biden, because I believe Trump has a really strong dislike towards the people coming here. I believe Trump would be willing to break the law to secure the border, whereas Biden is going to try to do it in a more humane way. I believe Trump stayed in there rapists and murderers. Hell, whatever happens to a rapist and murderer, should have thought about that before you came to the country. I do believe Trump would be in favor of long prison sentences for entering this country illegally, up to and including loss of life. So I definitely believe Trump would be better on the border than Biden. I don't know if we'd be happy with the results of it, but I do believe Trump would be like defending the Berlin Wall in the late 60s. Moving on, black colleges That's a big accolade that the right often gives Trump, HBCUs and things like that. I don't see the black colleges really bragging about how much they love Trump. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know how much money Trump allocated to HBCUs, but I'm under the impression that every president was doing that. And Trump just continued the tradition. I don't see a hell of a lot of black colleges bragging about it. To me, that says a hell of a lot. 7 million in jobs. As I stated, the analysts suggest Biden has created more jobs. And by the way, when we're bashing Biden for the economy, understand you got burger flippers now making $20 an hour. So we can talk about Biden's economy, but you got to take note that wages have went up under Biden. Yeah, the cost of goods and services has too, but wages under Biden have went up substantially. The only reason we don't have minimum wage locked in state for state is the Republicans are against it. If you go into northern states and look at what their state minimum wage is, and then you go down south, you can see who is in favor of raising wages or not. It's a big, big difference in some states. It can be much as $10 an hour damn near. There are states out there where the minimum wage is starting to flirt with $15 to $20 an hour. And there are other states where the minimum wage is barely $7. Most of the Bible Belt states, with the exception of maybe Florida, minimum wage is really, really low in those states. So those are red states. Take that into consideration. Tax cuts. Trump often brags about tax cuts. Largest tax cuts in history. What doesn't get mentioned is one group got a permanent tax cut and the other group got something that is temporary. And the group that got the temporary tax cut don't have a lot of money. Doesn't come up much. And the 50 hostages, I'm not quite aware of what that is, but if that's the case, I'll give them credit for that. That is a good thing. Anyhow, folks, you know how the program is ran. Appreciate the 160,000 likes. Certainly a pleasure having you here. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Understand we're here 1 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Feel free to follow the program if you enjoy civilized dialogue on both sides of the aisle. Kelly with the Galaxy. Now, that is how you end the program. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your generosity. Shout out to you. Certainly on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button, a subscription if you will. Like I stated, civilized dialogue. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. That is how we run the program. It's not my program. It's not your program. It's our damn program. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to go. YouTube, thank you, folks. Certainly appreciate the participation in the comment section. Didn't get around to all of you, but we'll do it again tomorrow.